level, whether they did break in, whether anything was taken. So I thought it's just some petty kind of somebody, broke a window or something of that nature. I didn't know the seriousness of it, and yes, what I did was just to try and engage with the lab to fast track. I did nothing further.
My question is, when he told you there was an attempted break-in, did you say to him, let's look at... Well, firstly, I'm worried that he tells you there was an attempted break-in and you didn't ask him what. These are your exhibits worth millions. He tells you there's a break-in, you tell us, I didn't ask him, I just assumed it was a broken window. Well, as it happens, the coincidence, if you like, is that the attempt was on a window. But on a more serious level, it's quite concerning that as an investigating officer, you say to us, I didn't ask him what. But that's not my question. I accept that's how you behaved on the day. My question is, when he told you there was an attempted burglary, did you say to him, perhaps let's find a new place?
No, I did not, Commissioner.
Okay, thank you.
Colonel, I want to take you back to Advocate Silo's question. Sitting here, we have the benefit of hindsight. And I did not understand her question to be imputing foresight. I understood her question and I could have understood it incorrectly. She will clarify. I understood her question to be along these lines. Looking back, do you accept any responsibility, not for the theft, for the loss? The fact that these drugs were in police custody, and it ties up with Commissioner Baloy's point. You were the investigating officer, and so many things went wrong here, and the police lost what we assume to be cocaine, valued between 200 million and 400 million. You saw Mpangase's statement, he said 243 million. I engaged you on it could be between 200 and 4, we don't really know, because no analysis was done. But you now have the benefit of hindsight. You've looked at all the statements. You've looked at everything that has been presented. Do you accept some responsibility for the fact that these drugs were lost or went missing?
In hindsight, yes, if I knew it was going to turn out like this, I would have really exhausted all avenues to phone, do whatever I could to try and move it from there. I can't tell you exactly what I would have done, but obviously if I knew that this was going to happen, I would have really put my mind to it and tried to achieve it.
I would take it a step further and say, even if you didn't know that these drugs were going to be stolen, just looking at how everything was done and knowing what the prescripts say and knowing that they were stored in an unsafe place, because I don't want another policeman to say, I will only accept responsibility when they are stolen, but if they are not stolen and we do wrong things, then that's fine. So I want you to look at this thing holistically and say, we got so many things wrong, and because we got so many things wrong, these drugs were lost. And that's how one looks at it.
Commissioner, I'll go as far as to say, because of the lack of storage place, it had to go to a location that turned out to be unsafe and which led to the theft of these drugs. So yes, I'll bear some responsibility, but I don't want to lie to this commission as though, it was because of me, or I'm not feeling that way. I took instructions from my brigadier, from a senior member in the police. He didn't ask me to store it at somebody's house or anything like that. It was a vault. Unfortunately, I didn't know about the security threat, so I'll say, yes, I'll shoulder some of the blame, responsibility. I could have taken maybe different actions to have a different desired outcome, but we have the benefit of hindsight now. And at that stage, I never suspected something of this nature would happen there. But yes, I will shoulder some of the blame, and I'll say that if I knew that something of this nature was going to happen, something so serious like all of these drugs getting stolen, I would have done everything that I could have done to try and move them out of there.
And lastly, you said something which bothered me when Commissioner Baloyi was engaging you, that you and Warrant Officer Setsedi used to be close, you used to work together. You seem to have had a falling out because of this case. Warrant Officer Setsedi made a statement in January 2022, and it's in file 2, exhibit file 2 on page 639. And reading that statement, reading it with yours, and I speak for myself, I'm prepared to accept that the two of you had a discussion about 5 exhibits being tested and weighed, and if there was variation between those 5, only then will the total follow. So, to me, that's not a big deal because it seems like there was a discussion about.
My work is easy because I use ClickUp. Here's how AI saves me hours every day. It automatically prioritizes my tasks so I can focus on what's important without wasting time trying to figure out what to do next. I can ask Brain about any list to quickly get up to speed. When I need to draft documents, ClickUp Brain helps me get ideas on paper. And questions in our team channel now get automatically answered by an AI agent with expert company knowledge. ClickUp makes work easy, from personal projects to running a multi-billion-dollar company. Click the link below to create your workspace for free.
Few months after this discussion that you had with him, he says there was such a discussion. So I wanted to draw it to your attention. I don't want you to comment, but I don't want you living here thinking, but we did have this discussion. Why does he come to the commission and say it didn't happen? Because I accept this as his affidavit, and I read it the way I read it, and I will leave it there.
I'll just comment by saying thank you for that, Commissioner. It makes me feel a little better inside.
No, I just wanted to show
Yes.
you that there is that discussion about the mass and the fact that initially 5 exhibits will be weighed. If there's a big variation between those 5, then more will be needed for the purposes of determining the total mass. So such a discussion did happen, and it is there. And we leave it at that.
Thank you, Commissioner.
Thank you, Commissioner.
Can I, looking at the same statement, and maybe for completeness as well, in fairness to Setsedi, Warrant Officer Setsedi, in that same paragraph, he says, I responded by, you were asking about destroying the exhibits here.
Yes.
And he says, I responded by saying, if they are going to destroy the exhibits, where will the total mass of the whole exhibit come from? So it seems even from this discussion with you, he was concerned about all the exhibits being accounted for, that the lab being able to speak to the total mass.
Commissioner, you're saying he was concerned about it.
It seems.
I think I was more concerned about it, Commissioner. This was the only viable option, according to him, weighing the 7 to 10 bricks. But if he told me, like his evidence here, we don't take samples, bring everything, bring it here, I would have done so.
Yes. No. I'm saying, all I'm doing is I'm reading a part of that paragraph where you have had a discussion. Commissioner Khumalo refers to it to point out that Warrant Officer Setsedi does speak to you discussing samples.
Okay.
That's the point that
Thank you,
Commissioner Khumalo
Yes.
saying. And my only reference is to say, well, in the same paragraph, be mindful that he also says, when he asked about destruction, he asked if destroying the exhibits won't affect the case. That's what he says. I responded by saying, if they are going to destroy the exhibits, where will the total mass of the whole exhibit come from? You see where I'm reading?
Yes, I see. Commissioner, there's no way I would ask an analyst, when do I destroy, or what did he say? How can I destroy exhibits? I'm familiar, I've done this hundreds of times. There's no way I'm going to ask an analyst, how do I go about destroying exhibits?
that part of the
I
statement,
disagree.
you're saying we must
I think
disbelieve,
he's
we
got
must
his
disbelieve
lines mixed
it.
up. Yes, Commissioner.
Okay.
That's why I say ignore how you guys frame this thing, because even your statement now before the commission in paragraph 44 and 45, you do say the concern was about the average weight of the total exhibits. So the total mass was the discussion, and you needed the average, and for that you needed a certain number of bricks. Only if there's a variation, then you need. But that has to do with the quantity for the purposes of destruction.
Yes.
Because any sample, if, let's say, for example, the 5 exhibit bags that were sent to FSL, if that is all that was discovered, and that constituted the entire bust, there would have been no difficulty with analyzing that.
Yes.
So the issue is not whether that small sample could be analyzed or not. The issue was, if you want to destroy, you need to know what the total is.
Yes.
Yes.
Yes, Commissioner. Yes, that's correct.
Thank you, Commissioners. Before I turn to my next question, I just want to be sure that I heard you correctly. I think in response to a question by Commissioner Kumalo, who premised his question on quote-unquote wisdom of hindsight. Now, looking back today, we are older, we are wiser. Your explanation was because of lack or absence of storage capacity, you stored at DPCI Port Shepstone offices. Is that correct? Did I hear correctly?
It's because of lack of storage place that I indicated to the brigadier that, yes.
So it's not because of lack of storage that they went to Port Shepstone. That's misleading. Because we established in the morning, there was storage at Maiden Wharf. So you can't even, wisdom of hindsight or otherwise, you can't sit here today and say there was no storage capacity in Durban. On the contrary, it has been demonstrated to you there was. With wisdom of hindsight, you realize now that there was capacity in Durban. You have to accept that. I don't
Yes,
think
Durban
we can
would have
quibble.
had capacity, yeah.
I just wanted to correct that lest there's a misunderstanding. My challenge on this issue of who is eventually responsible for the seized drugs is this. Earlier, you sought to persuade the commissioners that when Brigadier Nuswa instructed you, quote unquote, that's the word you used, to store them at DPCI Shepstone, he thereby assumed full legal responsibility for them. That was the position you held, and I think Commissioner Baloyi just re-engaged you on that issue, correct?
Yes, that's
All
correct.
right. My confusion then is when he tells you on the 27th, no, he tells you after the 27th of October that there was an attempted break-in. Why do you get yourself involved? Why don't you say, that's your baby, they're your drugs, you've taken responsibility for them. Why must you be going to FSL to try and facilitate or expedite their reaction, their destruction, unless you were just doing him a favor?
No, you are correct. I should have done so. It's a police culture. You very rarely question your superiors, but I should have done so.
No, here it's not about questioning. He told you about a crisis that had befallen them. There was an attempted break-in. Your reaction was to then involve yourself, it would sound, on exhibits that are no longer your responsibility, notwithstanding the fact that you're in the investigating office. Why did you do all that? Because that is how you find yourself against FSL Amazim Toti as to who said what on what day and what was the content of the conversation, because you went to FSL Amazim Toti to chase up on drugs for which you had no responsibility, according to you?
Yes. Commissioner, it was the Brigadier's direct words, follow up with the lab, when he called me and informed me about the attempted break-in. Follow up with the lab to see what we can do to either dispose or destroy. He asked me to follow up with the lab, and that's what I did.
Did I see that in your statement? Oh, okay. So was that an instruction?
He didn't say I'm instructing you, but I took it as an instruction.
You know, the problem with your explanations about this is you are the investigating officer, and yet you present to us as if NUSA was running this. That's the problem with this discussion about these exhibits where they are sitting, there's an attempted break-in, how you respond, or your absence of a response, actually, to the news that there was an attempted break-in. It's as if this is Brigadier Nuswa's show, and we will ask him that. So I think whatever answer you are giving to us on this, be assured that it's a matter that he will be engaged on, whether once he had come in to assist you, and I use the word assist because that's what you did. You called him to assist you, to find a place. Once you had called him to come and assist you, you then sort of washed your hands off it while it's still there. It's now Brigadier Nuswa's baby. Even when you hear that there's an attempted break-in, well, it's not my problem. It's the Brigadier's problem. I do have a fundamental problem with accepting that was your understanding, that what you're telling us is a true reflection of your understanding of your continued relationship with those exhibits.
Commissioner, once again, I'll say it in the normal course of things, if it was a small, normal exhibits that we handled, yes, I'm fully responsible as the investigating officer, fully responsible. This was an anomaly. It was a special circumstance. It was out of my control, or can I say it wasn't within my powers to acquire a suitable storage place. Although we've now established I hadn't exhausted all avenues, albeit, notwithstanding that, I'm saying once Brigadier Nuswa made the decision to store in Port Shepstone, it moves away from the Durban area, it moves away from my control. He's a provincial commander. Yes, I do bear some sort of responsibility for those exhibits, but I can't do anything without his say-so. I can't go to Colonel Prinsloo and now just remove exhibits. The directive would have to come from a brigadier. And when he told me about the break-in, his words to me was follow up with the lab. So maybe I should have explicitly said it and said, okay, while I'm following up with the lab, Brigadier, you can try and acquire another place that's safer. Maybe I should have done that. But I'm still maintaining that if it was a normal course of things and it was a normal exhibits that we deal with, I've seized, it's an exhibit that's manageable, that I'm able to handle, yes, I will take full responsibility. It's outside now, it's so many 100 kilometers away from the Durban area. There's only so much influence I can exert on what happens to these exhibits, seeing as it's now at a unit, a Port Shepstone unit that's controlled by another lieutenant colonel who stored it there on directives of Brigadier Nuswa. So yes, I won't wash my hands off completely, but I'll say I'm not totally.
I tried a ton of AI work tools. Then I tried Monday.com. Game over. Monday.com is super easy to use and knows how to do AI right. I use it for insights and action suggestions constantly, especially on those back-to-back meeting days. And my team used Monday Sidekick to work up all kinds of marketing content for the different platforms. So stuff that takes my team hours is now done before they even open their laptop. All these AI features are built directly into Monday.com and actually use our real data. With Monday.com, AI isn't some over-promising future. It's here. It just works. Like, actually saves us time and resources kind of works.
Monday Sidekick. AI you'll love to use. Start a free trial today at Monday.com.
Further, I have done.
You indicated, I think yesterday, that, was it Warrant Officer Sibia at the time was a very junior member who was not familiar with narcotics bursts, but you thought he was sufficiently knowledgeable that you brought him on this particular operation. Do you recall? Are you aware that he instructed members at DPCI Port Shepstone to find information regarding the burglary after it occurred. Are you aware of that?
He instructed members, Commissioner. You say he instructed members.
I'll say instructed when he tells a member to initiate an information seeking exercise. I'm avoiding the word formal. I'm avoiding the formal word investigation. I want to find out if you are aware.
No, I'm not aware of that. Okay, Commissioner, can I just maybe expand?
Yes.
Although I said we did not investigate it, when I say that, it means officially we were not the investigating officers of the theft of drugs from Port Shepstone. Ultimately, head office took over that, which was foreseeable. Although we did not officially investigate it, yes, we tasked informers, we made inquiries, we did all of the necessary to see if those drugs pitched up somewhere in KZN.
Yes, indeed. This is investigations out there.
Yes.
What I'm referencing here is Warrant Officer, what's his name? Sibia, instructing another member to officially conduct that.
Okay, I wasn't aware of that.
So you didn't instruct him to do so?
No, Commissioner.
And in this respect, so that to give perspective, CJC 267, CJC 267, that will be at page 798.
Is it here? I think it's on this one. What's there?
Page 798, Chair.
Yes.
You located it.
Got it.
Colonel, I don't know if you you've seen this statement before, but it's by Detective Sergeant Morne Clayton Jones, stationed at Port Shepstone SAPS, attached to the detectives. You see that?
Commissioner, maybe I want to point out something. I hope
Yes,
I'm not being
please do.
forward. This is Brigadier Spear. It's not the Spear that we were referring to with regards to this investigation. This is a Brigadier.
Okay.
Yes.
Who is Brigadier Sibia?
Our 798 is Jones.
It is Jones?
Yeah, Jones makes reference to a Spear.
Oh, I see.
Yes,
Commissioners.
that's a clarification he's giving. Who's Brigadier Sibia?
The Brigadier Spear I know is one of the commanders at Provincial Organized Crime,
Okay.
based at Provincial Building in Durban.
Okay, so
Yes.
there, you're quite right. He references him at the second paragraph, main paragraph, that on the after the break-in on the 8th, he was tasked by Brigadier Sibia to see if he could find any information regarding this break-in as the drugs, which were stolen, amounted to 200 million at paragraph 4. You see where I'm reading?
Paragraph 4.
Paragraph 4, first line.
Yes.
Says, I was then tasked by Brigadier Sibia to see if I could find out any information regarding the break-in, as the drugs which were stolen amounted to 200 million.
I see that.
Okay?
Yes.
And if you go over leaflet 799, the last sentence highlighted in yellow, on 18 November, I received a phone call from Brigadier Sibia, who informed me that I must take this dock at Port Shepstone, that cast number, and hand it over to Lieutenant General Mgabozi at our provincial office in Durban, which I did. The investigation of this case was then taken over by a provincial team. And the clarification you provide is that I should not confuse reference to Brigadier Sibia here as meaning the warrant officer Sibia, who
Yes,
I take that. Thank you for that clarity. And you say what Brigadier Sibia is at Durban
He's
provincial
at
office?
Provincial Organized Crime.
Okay.
And I use this opportunity
Yes.
because 2 pages later on 801, just so that it's on record. It's the investigation diary of the 22nd of June 2021. So
Yes.
you'll see further down, they say the estimated value of the drug seized, 243,450,000. And how they arrived at that is, they say is 450,000 per kilogram.
Yes,
So
I see.
if you times that by 541, that's how you get to the 243 million.
Yes,
Yeah.
Commissioner, yes.
Thank you.
Thank you, Commissioner. I'd like to move on to a different point very quickly. I hope we'll be able to deal with this. If we could go to, I'm looking for page 475. And that is CJC 239. CJC 239.
Yes, I've got it, Commissioner.
This is a letter dated 13 February. Kennel, I was saying that that document at page 475 is dated 13 February 2024, and it appears at the bottom to be from General Sinona.
Yes, Commissioner.
It is addressed to the Acting Provincial Commander, Serious Organized Crime Investigation, Directorate for Priority Crime Investigation, KwaZulu-Natal. Correct? Just for the record, who is or was the Acting Provincial Commander at the time?
I'm not sure why it says acting. As far as I know, during that period, it was still Brigadier Newswa. So I would think it was him, but I'm not sure why it says acting, or maybe if he was on leave, there was someone else in his place. So I'm unsure of that, Commissioner.
But in that period, Brigadier Newswa was the provincial commander.
He was.
This is regarding Warrant Officer Sander and his temporary placement to Provincial Support Services. And it reads, paragraph 1, a complaint was received on allegations of serious corruption against the above-mentioned member who is attached to the SANEB team at the Durban Serious Organized Crime Investigation. It has been decided that Warrant Officer Sander be placed on Provincial Support Services as from 13 February 2024, which is actually the date of the signature of that letter, until further notice, pending the outcome of this investigation. Kindly inform the member accordingly. First question, at this time, Warrant Officer Sander reported to you?
Yes, Commissioner.
When did you become aware of this transfer and how?
If I look at the date, it must have been on that date or 1 or 2 days afterward. I can't tell you offhand, but it would be there about the 13th of February 2024.
Okay. As his direct superior then, can you shed light on the allegations of this serious corruption allegation against him that led to this transfer? What was that investigation about?
Okay, firstly, I'll place on record, Commissioner, I was not the one handling the investigation. All I can tell you is second-hand information. It was allegations of dealing or selling drugs to nightclubs in the Florida Road area and allegations of theft of cocaine.
Now, at the time he was transferred as his immediate superior, did you engage with the then provincial commander, Brigadier Newswa, or whether somebody was acting, and or Brigadier Sinona as to why a member of your team is being transferred? Did you engage with anyone about this?
Yes, I did engage with Brigadier Newswa.
And what was the extent and level of your engagement?
Just to ask him what's going on. You know, we had this member as being temporarily placed at support services. And
Oh, sorry.
Yes. And he informed us that there's allegations against him. Once the investigation is finalized, if he's cleared, he'll come back, but he's going to be moved there.
Was that the extent of your involvement in this transfer?
In his transfer,
No, in this investigation that led to this transfer?
I had no active role in this investigation. It was handled by a colonel from Port Shepstone office.
Active or passive, I want to understand whether you played no role. You are his boss, so to
Yeah.
speak.
Red Bull Box Cut Race is coming to Sandton, Johannesburg. Enter your team at redbull.com/boxcartza.
Commissioner, I'll give you an example. I faced allegations of...
Now, we'll get to you. Let's stick to this one, Colonel. Thank you.
Yes, this was a directive. It was an instruction, not
Yes.
not an engagement. This is an instruction that you comply with. But I did engage with Brigadier Newswa, and he gave me the gist of it as to why this member is being moved.
Why is it only a gist when you are responsible for him? He reports to you directly. I would expect at least an engagement that would talk about the potential impact on your unit's work when suddenly there are transfers like this. I would expect a more meaningful engagement. Are you suggesting none was had with you?
Commissioner, the way these processes work...
No, Colonel, it's late in the day. You have a flight to catch on this matter.
Yes. I'm saying I don't have, this investigation goes to an objective party, not to a commander of the member. That's how the police works. It goes to an objective member who has no relationship with the member for further investigation.
Colonel, you're not talking generalities. I'm asking about this transfer
Yes.
and this investigation. Were you not engaged in a meaningful way
No, I was
by
not
anyone?
engaged. No, not in a meaningful way. I was told this member is being moved, and these are the reasons.
And if evidence were to be produced that in fact you were an active part of this and it was not Brigadier Nyuso, what would your comment be? Or would you challenge such evidence to be put forward?
When you say an active part, Commissioner, what?
It was you actively engaging with Major General Sinona on this matter?
You know, like I said, the investigation went to a certain individual, a colonel. But during the course of my career or my engagements with the brigadier and the general, I won't go into detail, but it's not only this member. There were other members that allegations were made against, and we were asked just to activate informers and check if there's anything. But I can say with confidence, there's nothing damning, there's nothing that I had done in order to get this to happen, to ensure that he stays away. There's no action that I took that actually prejudiced the member. But if you get an instruction, okay, these are allegations, look into this. We've heard we've had allegations, look into this. You guys know Durban. That was merely my role. But with regards to investigating this matter and seeing if the allegations were true, it was incumbent upon another colonel from Port Shepstone.
Okay.
Is your evidence that you only became aware of this after he was suspended or after he was placed elsewhere, of these allegations, or in fact the fact that he's being placed somewhere else?
You know, if I look at his date, I can't recall offhand whether my engagements were with Brigadier Newswa was when the member was transferred or prior. I can't recall exactly.
But you say that's your only involvement with this?
With this, yes, with this placement and the movement, yes. I'm going to go further to say, at some points, yes, I was asked to draft certain progress reports on things, but not with regards to this member here, not with regards to this member, on other investigations. But this, there was somebody else involved in it. I was not hands-on here.
You see, Warrant Officer Sanda said you were in the room when he was called in, and a document was waved around that there's this email which is making allegations against you. He says you were in that room when that happened.
Yes, it would only be proper, me as the unit commander, to be there.
Well, I thought your only involvement with this was when Now you are asking what's happening with my member, and then Brigadier Nyuswa then says to you, there are allegations against him. I thought that, in fact, not I thought, that's what you said. I'm putting to you that, but that's not true. That's not correct. That's all you got involved with. You were in the room when, according to him, you were in the room when he was called in and was told, you are being placed elsewhere. You're going to be placed elsewhere because there are allegations against you. Is it true that you were in the room?
I can't even recall, Commissioner, honestly. It may have been the case, I can't recall it.
You don't recall?
I don't recall.
You don't dispute,
I don't dispute
when he
that,
says
but
you were in the room?
It could be possible because it would only be proper that the unit commander be there.
Indeed.
Yes.
I would expect you to say, I must have been in the room, even if I don't have independent memory, because I'm his unit commander. Not to start with, my only engagement about this was with Nyuswa.
Yes, I concur.
Thank you.
Thank you, Commissioner Baloyi. Judging, I think, by my notes, that was my last question to the witness.
Is it about this? Still?
No, about his testimony to the commission.
No, I want to see if I can ask a question on this still, on this topic.
Yes, you can. And I take back my words. There's still another question I forgot. I keep forgetting this particular question. Apologize.
Yes. So, Colonel, what warrant officer Senda testified to is that he then gets placed in, I think, supply chain or another place where he's placed. And nothing is said to him. He remains there until he's moved elsewhere. And he only finds out that this investigation, or supposed investigation, was closed, I think 4 months or 4 weeks later. I think he said 4 weeks after he was first moved. He found out because he asked someone at Port Shepstone, I think he said, and he was told, they looked it up and then they said, no, but this thing was closed 4 weeks after it was referred. Now, accepting that as what happened for purposes of my discussion with you, are you saying to us, you lose a member of long service with narcotics, an experienced member in your unit who reports to you directly? You don't know, you don't ask, when is this investigation ending? I'm one member short. I'm one experienced member short. You do not ask what's happening with this investigation. Is that what you're telling the commission?
No, I'm not telling the commission.
Yeah. What are you telling the commission about on that score?
Okay. Maybe if I had to put it in perspective of how the police works when it comes to these things, right? Firstly, I was informed the member is under investigation. That is why he is being moved. I've got no say in that.
He's under investigation because you were in the room when he was told that an allegation has been made. So it's no longer, you and I have cleared that, in fact, your first account to us that you found out that is under investigation because of engagement, because you were wondering what's happening with our member, where he is, that's not an accurate reflection of what happened. You were in the very room where he was told there are allegations against you. Okay? So so let's move from this. You know your member, you were in the room when your member was told there are allegations against you. You become aware from that he gets placed elsewhere, right? My question accepts those two as a basis. And my question is, but he gets cleared. In fact, that investigation gets shut down. He finds out much later. I'm asking you about, once at any point you don't consider to ask, to check what's happening with my warrant officer, because I'm one person short. And I ask that question because I expect that a manager or a superior of an employee who has experience, who is part of a unit, which is now one person weaker, would have an interest in knowing where are things with this member of my team.
Commissioner, I was not aware the investigation was finalized within 4 days or 4 months or whatever he says. When I did get word from, I'm not sure whether it was the brigadier or the general, that there's nothing that's come out of this, it was my call. It was because of me. I'm the one who proposed. Now it's over. There's no reason to keep him at supply chain management. And that's when he came back to the unit.
When you found out, you didn't think to tell him. Whenever you inquired and you were told there's nothing to it, you didn't think that as his immediate superior, he's entitled to, it's only right, in fact, that he be told that that complaint or that allegation against you has in fact been found to have nothing to it and the investigation has been shut. You didn't think it was the appropriate thing to do and the right thing to do?
It was appropriate and I did so. That's how the member ended up back at the unit.
No, the member found out for himself. And he says to us, long after he had been moved around, long after he went and asked, and that's the only way. In fact, I asked him, did you ever get feedback on this, that this investigation, nothing has come of it? His answer was an emphatic no. I never received anything in writing except for this. I never received the allegations that were being investigated against me. I was told in a room that there's an email that came in. Never shown that email in the room in which you were. I never received anything, any report, and it went quiet until eventually I asked, and that's how I found out that I've been cleared. So according to him, it didn't come from you.
No, according to me, it did come from me.
Okay. Thank you.
Can I just get clarity on Warrant Officer Sanda? In June 2021, was he part of your team?
Yes, he was, Commissioner.
So you could have dispatched him to the depot on the day?
Yes, I could have.
Because we know that a month later in July, he was involved in the 999 kilogram bust.
Yes, Commissioner, you're correct.
And it goes back to tying up my earlier point that because you were on leave and there were capable members of your team who could have attended to the scene.
Milk doesn't have to make you feel bloated and uncomfortable. That's why there's Parmalat Easy Gest. It's easy to digest because it's lactose-free, so there's no discomfort. Parmalat.
You know, Commissioner, every policeman would like to boost his ego with a good bust. Carl Sanders had...
Let's not go back there. For all you knew, it was 5 kilograms.
But I'm saying a container... But I'm saying,
kilograms.
Commissioner, if you look at
For you
seizures,
to wake up and say, come and fetch me, I will
Yes.
attend the briefing where I will be told that it is 27 kilograms or 27 bags. When you got up and you said, come and fetch me,
Yes.
you didn't know that this was going to boost your ego. You did not know that this was a big bust. All you knew at that point is at a depot, there's a container,
Yes.
and it might contain cocaine.
Yes.
So to say it was going to boost your ego and your decision was based on that, that cannot fly.
Commissioner, any container bust, even if you get, if you get 5 kilos, 5 kilos of cocaine is like 2 million, close to 2 million street value. It's not every day you get a bust like that. So even the fact that I highlighted, I went off from leave to attend a normal search, it doesn't really matter on the amount, the magnitude, but this, when I heard it's a container thing, yes, it will boost your ego to know that you've been part of a bust where, and most of the times in a container, you're not getting less than 10 kilos at least. So that was my reason.
Colonel, it all leaves one with the impression that you wanted to be there, you wanted to take control of the scene, you wanted to manage it the way you managed it, you wanted the drugs to go to a particular place, and we know what happened to the drugs.
Commissioner, I strongly disagree with that. You know, and I'm going to add something else, Commissioner, just to enlighten the Commission. Drug busts went on even in the absence of Carl Sanders, interdictions at the harbor. not to shoot him down, but it's not the member himself that was prolific in terms of identifying containers or doing further investigations, and it's a matter of getting the information from your contact at Crime Intelligence. So he was not the be-all and end-all. We've got many competent...
No, I think the question is different now. I think Commissioner Khumalo is way past the question of why you came back from leave.
Like
now,
I said...
Now, yeah, I don't know. I thought so. Can you please respond to...
Okay.
Yeah.
You know, Commissioner, if I had a history of being office-bound and I'm somebody that never goes out, somebody that never carries cases, yeah, even Sechedi will tell you, Clan Labs, I've identified Clan Labs, I love that action, I love investigation, I love being out on the field. So if I was somebody that normally didn't do it, and now all of a sudden I get this energy while I'm on leave to go start working, then I can agree with you, Commissioner, that it doesn't look good. But if you find out from even whoever, any colleagues that work with me, I'm that type of person. So I know your other witnesses appeared before the commission and things. We saw guys were office bound and they just went out. For me, that was totally not the case. I'm somebody, if you look at my history, my convictions, my Clan Labs, it speaks for itself. I may not be as articulate as some of our other members and able to promote myself such that the country sees me as a hero, but I've done what I needed to do, and okay, that's it. I won't say more, Commissioner.
You are actually very articulate. Did you hear me?
Say it again, Chair.
I'm saying you are actually very articulate.
Thank you, Chair. Thank you. Just made my day.
Thank you, Commissioner.
May I just follow up on Commissioner Khumalo? You chose Warrant Officer Sibia to be part of this operation. Why him? Maybe let me start there. You have other members in the unit.
Yes.
Why him?
When Pangase and I spoke, and then I think he walked around the office, he knew who was around. Then I asked him, check for anybody else. He told me, I'm not even sure what he said, but I told him, he's KG there. Because I think Carl Sanders was on leave at that time, if I'm not mistaken. But I don't think anybody else was around. I can't recall exactly, but KG Sibia and he worked under me at EPR as well. So we've got a close relationship. I get on well with the member. So that's the reason for it. There's no
Well, I ask you because in his statement, and remember the context in which we are asking these questions is because of these obvious anomalies that happened and resulting in the loss of these drugs which in circumstances that really do not make sense. In his statement, he says he has no experience in these kind of operations. He's never done it. It's not part of what he does in his everyday job. He tells us in his statement what he does.
Yeah.
So there is that curiosity of why would you have picked him? You are on leave, you're not in the office. You don't say to Mbanga, find someone else in the office. So I'm not even saying Sanders. I don't know if he was or was not on leave. I know he was on leave when the drugs got lost. So I'm not concerned so much about him. I'm concerned about you run a unit that has other members who do narcotics. Surely it's not just you and Bangase and Sanders, right?
Correct.
And you pick someone who doesn't do this in the normal course of their work, in fact, does not have any experience. It doesn't make sense that you would have picked him away from the office. It's not as if you're walking down the corridor and you saw him.
Okay.
You're sitting in your house and you pick him by name. That's a great curiosity in the circumstances of what happened eventually.
Okay. Commissioner, I'm going to disclose something in this commission that I initially chose not to. You know, we don't like to air our dirty laundry. I told you I was moved to commercial crime from 2018 to 2019 for 1 year. There were allegations against me. I was moved there till the investigation was finalized. It was over a year before I got back to the Sunhab unit. And when I got back there, part of my problems of why I landed up in commercial crime was due to the fact that certain SANEP members and I were not seeing eye to eye, and allegations were made. I know some were fabricated, not I know, they were fabricated against me because it was unfounded. So when I got back to organized crime, and when this opportunity came up, most of those SANEP members that were available, I've since mended my bridges. It's water under the bridge now. Honestly, most of those guys there and I were not on good terms. The tension was still there. So I saw fit now to choose guys that I knew we were friends, there was no issue between us, to choose guys of that standing so that now we can now ride on this high horse to say, hey, we've done a nice drug bust, It may sound silly, it may sound petty. I've disclosed this to, I think, the evidence leaders behind the scenes. I'm not sure whether it was Advocate Sello or Ngube. And I said I don't want to air dirty laundry. And that's the reason I made my choice of members of who I did choose. And I think the commission knows that maybe my choice in the end is something that worked against me, right? So I'm saying I made it because of that, because I was not getting on very well with some of those guys that were available, and that's why I chose who I chose. And to those at the office who wondered why I chose those members, I've disclosed it to them, because exactly what you're saying, Commissioner. I knew it, they will wonder.
So is Warrant Officer Mpangase, or was, because he's no longer there, the only SANEP member that you got along with at the time?
No. Like I said, I'm sure Carl was on leave, right? But maybe there was one or two others, maybe one or two. But
Yes,
Carl
and why did you not pick them? Because they have experience. You're taking somebody
Yes.
who, on their own account, say, but this is not what I do every day. So you pick someone out of the environment,
Yes.
of experience that you have. And it doesn't make sense unless you say, well, the only one I got along with was Mpangase, so I had to pick somebody else. And that's not what you're saying.
Yes. Commissioner, the role of any other member who I would have called was not that an in-depth role that you need to know drug investigations 100%.
Yeah, but it could have been a member who's pliable and who will tell a story that you tell. For example, you all say ORS and customs were there. It may well be. So it's not as if, don't proceed on the basis that it's common cause, that it wouldn't make a difference who you pick. An experienced member may well have told you, we cannot move these drugs from here at the harbor. So do not do it's of no consequence, because it is of consequence. So the answer of they would have played a minimal role, no, that's not a good answer. Give an answer, why did you not pick an experienced member in your team that you get along with? Yes. I'm prepared to accept maybe pettiness, excuses, you not picking Sanders or the most experienced members in the team. I accept that and I don't quarrel with that. But you got along with others who are on duty, who it is their everyday job to do operations like this. You go and pick a junior, by your description, a very junior person who, according to you, it doesn't matter that they are there. It's not as if they're going to play a critical role. You choose to do that. That does require an explanation, especially in an operation that goes so horribly wrong, where you come in from leave, you go away, you remain involved in the matter, you come back, bad decisions are made throughout in the handling of these exhibits until they are stolen. You have to have a better answer about why this person who's ignorant about these operations, why him? It's suspicious, give a better answer.
Okay. Also, Commissioner, I can't tell you 100% who was available, but it was that time of the morning where members are out.
together.
Shepston has not moved the drugs. That applies to you and Mpangase as well. You tell him, you don't ask him. You don't say, who's in the office? And then he gives you a list of names and then you pick from that. You actually name the person you want. So your answer has to be premised. The premise of your answer has to be, you made the choice. You told Mpangase who to approach. And on your view that you take about the authority of the words of your superior, of course he was going to follow your instruction, which is to find Sibiya. So don't blame Mpangase for anything to do with this choice. It's all on you, and you have to give a satisfactory explanation on these facts. On another day, it may not matter, but we are dealing with an operation that went horribly wrong. And so you have to explain all your decisions and satisfactorily explain your decisions, including why Sibiya, who has nothing to do with the kind of work that you do, which is narcotics.
Okay. Commissioner, may I answer it with a practical case scenario? I'll give you an example of another operation and members that were used, or am I being, or is that me pointing fingers and you don't want to hear that? Can I give you, just to show you how things work?
If it enhances your answer about Sibiya, why you chose Sibiya, by all means, but if it's just to relate another case and it doesn't enhance the quality of your answer, don't, because it is of no value whatsoever.
Fine, then I won't.
Okay, thank you.
Thank you, Commissioner Baloyi. The one question I kept forgetting. On the 22nd of June, as you say, till the 29th, you were on leave, 2021. And you've had engagement with the commissioners about your continued involvement in the inquiry after the drugs were taken to Port Shepston, DPCI offices, you recall?
Yes.
I want to understand firstly, I guess, how does it work in SAP, so DPCI, KZN, when you are on leave, is no one appointed to act in your place?
There would have been a captain that was there.
Okay.
Yes.
Now, any challenges that Warrant Officer Mpangase experienced after he took over as an investigating officer, was it not appropriate to direct them to the person acting in your stead?
Yes, it would have been appropriate to do so.
And you seem to have allowed him not to do so, but to direct these queries to you and seek assistance from you. Was that appropriate?
I deemed it appropriate because I was there for the actual crime scene, but in the normal course of things, no, it would be prudent to let the acting commander take charge of that.
Indeed, because you are no longer responsible once somebody is appointed to act in your stead. You are supposed to wash your hands, quote unquote, of it. Otherwise, then you are interfering in their very acting appointment.
You know, Commissioner, I won't agree 100% with that. It happens all the time. You're on leave, you started a certain process, now you need to follow up. It's only you who can do it. So the leave doesn't really affect our managerial.
Can I stop you, because I think you might just create problems for yourself, and perhaps it's not necessary. I accept we are all tired now. I just want to put this proposition to you. The fact that it happens all the time doesn't make it right. Will you accept that?
I do.
Okay. I accept that it happens all the time in your case, in the DPCI, and maybe that is part of the problem. Nobody seems to comply with any applicable prescripts and protocols. So even acting appointments are affected and they're immediately undermined. That's what's coming across, and I don't know if that's the impression you want to create with the commissioners. That's what happens, but the impression that you are trying to create with the commissioners, that is quite in order.
No, I'm not trying to create
okay. As an aside, I asked this question because I kept forgetting about it. I have another question more related to Warrant Officer Sander. But if I'd posed this one first, I would have once again forgotten my question about being on leave. Have you ever recommended Warrant Officer Sander for promotion?
I can't recall. No, I haven't.
No, are you sure?
I'm not sure. I'm not even sure. I can't. If you may have something, I can't recall. There's nothing very special or that I would remember. I'm sure I recommended other members as well. I'm not sure in what context, so maybe you can
I would expect you to have recommended other members. I think yesterday, at least the point you drove home is that you are a fairly small unit out in the DPCI KZN, right?
That's correct.
So if you have, and that unit hasn't grown much, you would know who you've recommended and who you haven't recommended. You wouldn't suggest you have recommended me out of 10 and you are the 10th in circumstances when you know you've never. It's not like you're recommending 100 people. So you know whether or not you recommended him.
I can't recall. It's different intakes, different phases of promotion, so I'm not sure which one you're referring to.
I'm referring to the 2021, November 2021.
Mm-hmm.
And he was seeking to be promoted to the rank of captain. And you, the whole other document, and you signed and supported him with the comment that the member is suitable for promotion, signed by you on 17 November 2021. No recollection.
Okay, yes, now I recall. That's a part a commander recommends his member whether they're suitable or not for promotion. Yes, I
Yes.
do. Yes.
And he wasn't promoted.
Evidently so, Commissioner.
Do you know why?
I can't say why.
Okay. Did you ever assist him to get promoted to other positions, perhaps, or?
When you say assist him, Commissioner?
However, whether to establish why he wasn't promoted and if it's a training issue to ensure that he receives an appropriate training.
Commissioner, what I can say, I've never sat on a panel where he has appeared before me on a promotion
I'm not
panel.
asking as a panel member, I'm asking as somebody who reports to you,
Yes.
who sought your support, and you gave that support, and they are unsuccessful in that endeavor.
Yes.
What, you bury it there, you don't even interest
Yes,
yourself
we
to
bury
find
it
out
there,
why?
It's improper to now find out from a selection panel. It's not done. It's now that you are interfering.
You know that's not what I'm talking about. You find out from the person who sought support from you what went wrong. Was it the questioning? Was it the level of experience? You have that engagement and you say, we will try again. I never sent you to go ask the panel anything. Why would you be going there?
Yeah, that's why I'm saying that the most I can do is recommend him and say that he's suitable for promotion. After that, if I'm not on a panel, it's out of my hands, Commissioner.
Oh, I thought you would be recommending him for promotion because it would enhance the capacity of your team. No, not necessarily. He was reporting to you at the time?
Yes, but I'm not sure where the promotion he applied for was, Commissioner. So,
I'll leave it there.
yes.
Chair and commissioners, those are my questions. Thank you.
Yes. Colonel, just to clarify some aspects of your earlier evidence that I might have missed as you explained them. And it's on different topics. There are not more than 4. The first is when you got to Isipingo police station, you say something about the availability of evidence bags when you were there. Can you just repeat what it is that you're saying about the availability? What happened when you were there about the availability of bags?
Warrant Officer Perumal did not have the required size bags.
Okay.
That I can distinctly remember. He had no bags.
Okay.
Yes.
So there was nothing?
There was no bags.
Okay. Did you consider to phone, because I'm assuming you accept that these exhibits, soonest possible, they have to be bagged in evidence bags.
Yes.
You are at a police station where you are entering them into SAP, into the SAP 13. Did you not consider to phone other stations and inquire if they have evidence bags so that you can do this properly?
I did consider that. There's no real go-to person. You phone a station, then he'll refer you to an exhibit clerk. But just to let you know, we have done that before, Commissioner.
No, I'm asking about this operation.
Yes, no,
you are at Isipingo, because in your statement you don't say that you called around to find out if anyone has got these bags. We earlier looked at the instruction which says you go to the police station and this is what you do. So I'm asking my question in that context, that you are at a police station, you tell us that there were no evidence bags. There is a debate, there is a different version from Warrant Officer Perumal that this never even came up. But I'm happy for purpose of our discussion to go with your version, which is you asked him and he said he didn't have bags. The question is, well, to do things properly at that point, because now you're not rushing, you're in the precinct of a police station, you haven't said there was a risk of anything, we need to do this quickly. Why did you not phone around to request the right size evidence bags so that they are brought to you, or you be told we don't have? Why did you not do that?
I can't answer that, but maybe this will answer it a little. I was of the understanding with Pangase that when they get to Port Shepstone, the bagging can be done there, because by that time it was already entered. Yes, I did not make the decision. I've had experiences where guys run around and get 3 bags and 2 bags and 5.
It captures everything, from action items to key decisions. And after every call, you get a clear summary. But where it really goes to the next level is that it's the only AI note taker that connects your meetings to the rest of your work. So stop stressing about taking notes and get the AI note taker that works for you. Get ClickUp AI Note Taker for your next meeting.
At Isipingo.
Yes,
Before they are put onto anyone's vehicle and transported to Port Shepstone, you knew that you have to get evidence bags and bag them there at Isipingo as a matter of rule or law or regulation or instruction. They had to be bagged there.
Yes, that's correct.
You knew that.
But with no bags, that is why I took that decision.
We know there were no bags. We know that for a fact. So I'm not engaging about were they ever bagged or not. We know they were not bagged. So my discussion with you is different. It is about why did you not phone around? I think you explained earlier why it is important that they are bagged, right? You have explained the importance of it. And I'm asking you, important as it is, essential, in fact, as it is, why do you not phone around? Because you're not rushing anywhere at that point. There is no risk of attack. All the things that you said about moving from the depot, they are non-existent now that you are at Isipingo. So you have, if you like, the luxury of time to phone around and hopefully get the bags and do it properly. You did not do that. You did not do that.
I didn't do it. It's time consuming as well.
Yeah, but you can't. No, I think it's worse. I think stop there. Do not say it's time consuming, because it gets worse with that explanation. You did not. You did not call around.
I did not.
Okay, and you accept you should have. National instruction requires you to bag these things there. You accept you should have found out if you can get the bags elsewhere before you transported them unbagged.
Yes, I concede.
Okay. In your relating to that, in your statement, and here I want to understand the process. You arrived at Isipingo police station. You went into the police station to find the exhibit clerk. I think that's what you say. In your statement, you also say that when you got there, the members started offloading while you went in to find the exhibit clerk, right?
Mm-hmm.
So there's a window where you lost sight of these exhibits that are not backed, that are not yet in an SAP 13, You lost sight of them at some point. There's a window, there has to be.
Yes, there was.
They started unloading them.
Yes.
You went inside.
Yes.
Right. So in that period, you did not have sight.
No, I did not.
So you wouldn't know if any of the exhibits may have been tampered with in that period. Or would you? And if you say, I would know, explain why you would know.
I wouldn't say I would have known exactly, but every operation you have to have some element of trust, Commissioner. There will be, at not every point in time, you can have your eyes on exhibits. So there is
I'm talking about this operation, and I'm going to say to you, if LCRC had been on the scene, there would have been eyes on that, right? While you go in, you would have waited. You should have waited. I want to suggest to you that you should not, as the leader of that operation, you should not have lost sight of these exhibits. And the proposition I'm making to you, and it has to be, you have to say, yes, I'm correct when I say to you, in the time that you left to go and find the exhibit clerk, anything could have happened with those exhibits. You wouldn't know.
Yes, you're correct.
Okay. So if Warrant Officer Sibia took a break, you wouldn't know.
I wouldn't know, no.
Yes, thank you. And then you also say in your statement, and you can correct me, and we are still at Isipingo. You also say we did the counting, so that you get the clerk, and now you're counting. Were the ORS people, where are they at that point? You say in your statement, and I want to tell you this so that I'm not tricking you, right? You say in your statement that they were present when the counting, you all did the counting. Am I correct in that reflection?
You know, when I say they were present, remember, Commissioner, it can't be 4 or 5 people that's counting at the same time.
Mm.
Yes, they were present. They were present enough to know when we inspected those bags, more or less how many was inside each bag. They didn't
What does
wait.
that mean? Just explain what you mean when you say they were present when we inspected those bags. What is that inspection that they were present for?
When we did offload those bags from their marked vehicle, Commissioner, we placed all of those bags on the ground.
Mm.
Those bags were open. I'm not sure who was the first one that took out the bricks, but the bricks were offloaded and was laid there in piles. So I'm not sure how many bags were offloaded in their presence. It could have been all the bags that were offloaded in their presence. But maybe, I'm jumping ahead of myself. All of these bags were offloaded and the bricks were kept on the side of them.
So the bags offloaded, you include that the bricks were taken out of the bags.
That's correct.
And you say the ORS were still there?
They were there when we unpacked and counted 20, majority was 20.
Mm.
There was one bag, the 27th bag, that had 21. But the ORS guys, remember, Commissioner, they also need to make a report of how many we seized. So I see they did leave a little prematurely. But they knew the count of the bags, that it had 20 and one had 21. Maybe they didn't do the maths, but they knew there were 27 bags, and when we offloaded them, the 27th one had 21 bricks, all the rest had 20. That I can say with confidence. Maybe they were not there when we did the tally. By that time, they said they had to leave and conduct their other duties. But they were there when the bags were offloaded and the bricks were counted. Enough to say that there was 20 in each one, except for the 27th bag that had 21. I can say that with confidence.
You see, I think his warrant officer, Gavin, says, we arrived, we took the bags off the vehicle and we left to go and do our job. So he doesn't say the same thing that you say.
I've got his statement, Commissioner.
Yes.
If you can look at the inquiry, I'm not sure where it would be, but
I'm going to try and help you find it because I also flagged it.
Whose statement are we looking for?
Looking for Gavin.
Yes, if you look at file number 2, and under tab...
At 779, what's it, 7?
Are you at 779?
Because, Commissioner, I just want to point out, this is not the statement I'm alluding to. I'm alluding to the statement that is filed in the inquiry and signed by Sergeant Gavin.
Well, I'm looking at page 601, which is Gavin, and it has his signature. It's on the 22nd of June, 2022. That's the one that I have read. If you've got another one that says what you're saying, then we can go there. In the last paragraph, it says, Colonel Jacob informed us that the exhibit must be transported to Isipingo SAPS. We then transported the 27 black bags.
I don't think the
Oh,
Colonel
he's not there yet. I'm so sorry.
has
Yes.
your attention.
Okay, Commissioner, I just want to point out, this is not the statement filed in my inquiry. Right?
Sorry,
This
say that
statement
again.
is obtained by somebody else. It's obtained by the team that were investigating the theft of these drugs. So
Yeah, but what's the significance of that?
the content is different. The content is different. Because I did read this with some concern. But the content is different. If you look at the evidence leader-
Perhaps wait for Commissioner Baloyi's point.
Okay, sure.
Yes.
I think I know where she's headed, but you may know.
That's the problem. That's the problem.
You can refer to another statement if you want to, but
Not
this is,
another, the
you know,
statement that
yeah,
I
this is the
obtained.
statement that I'm referring to where he says, we offloaded them at the parking area and we left and drove back to continue with our duties. So on this statement at least, they didn't stay beyond taking your bags off their vehicle and then they left. You make them more present than what he's describing here. You say the bags were offloaded, we opened them and we took the bricks out and we were lining them up and they were still there.
Commissioner, once again, if you see who took the statement, when I started off reading my evidence and reading my statement, it's obtained by the team investigating this theft of drugs. To me, all of their statements are questionable. I think even if we call Sergeant Gavin and show him the statement that I obtained from him, if he says otherwise, then I'll say, Commissioner, you have a point here. These statements, when they were taken from these individuals, I can't say specifically for Gavin, but what I've noticed is that all of these statements seem to follow a certain pattern where it's pointing fingers at certain individuals. I've got a statement filed in the docket that the same team investigating the theft of drugs from Port Shepstone are very familiar with. They've seen it, they have it. So you could take another statement that's contradicting what this individual said to me. And maybe for the record, we can read his statement out and compare it. But I'm not sure why I didn't have him under duress. I don't make him present when I'm opening the lock, so I'm not misleading in his statement. If you look at my statement, although initially, there was...
No, you had made him present when you opened the lock at the depot.
No, I'm saying I did that in error because of Pangase's notes. But when I did take Governor and Mkize's statement, nowhere does it say they were present when we opened the lock. My point being, Commissioner, there's no deception.
Are you saying he made these allegations in this paragraph under duress?
I'm not saying under duress, but I'm
suggesting?
saying I took a statement from him freely and voluntarily, and it says otherwise. Can maybe we look at that, Commissioner?
Yes, I said you can refer us to it.
Okay.
But maybe before you do that, can we at least accept that we are talking about a signed statement from Gavin?
Yes, that's correct.
So he indicated, in fact, it is under oath.
Yes.
He indicated under oath that which he describes there is in fact his testimony under oath in this statement.
I'll just hear from the evidence leader which file this.
Okay.
Chair, Commissioner Baloyi, might it assist to go to the other statement? Then perhaps I don't know what point the Colonel wants to make.
I think he's asking you to assist him locate that
It's
other
page
statement.
267.
It sounds like Commissioner Kumalo has it.
Page 627. That is the first Governor statement. The one you are discussing is the second Governor statement. So if I guess, Colonel, you can keep your finger on one of them while you discuss the other, so you don't lose. Those are the two Governor statements that we have. And then perhaps then you may address yourself to Commissioner Baloyi.
Okay.
This sentiment, this feeling I don't know, because he's...
Listening?
Okay. Commissioner, may I read paragraph 5 of page 627?
Yes, you may.
Sergeant Mkhize and I, together with other DPCI members, transferred these black bags from the container into a H1 marked state vehicle that I was driving. I counted 27 such bags. We were escorted by Lieutenant Colonel Jacob and his team to Isipingo SAP, where we assisted in offloading the black bags. The DPCI members were busy counting the yellow and black bricks of suspected cocaine when we left the scene. From my observations, each bag contained approximately 20 such bricks. We then left the scene and proceeded with our normal duties.
Yes, and you say that says what?
It says that he noticed 20, that's what he's saying, approximately 20 bricks in each bag. And Commissioner, I want to further add that no policeman involved in something of this nature will not write up their pocketbook properly to say what they had done on that day.
You see, I raised this with you because in your statement at paragraph 25, you say, we proceeded with the count of the bricks of cocaine with the police border members.
Yes.
That it's not the same as what you're reading in paragraph 5.
Yes.
He's saying you were counting. He left when you were counting. That's what he says in the one that you're referring to. But you're saying something completely different in your paragraph 25. You say, we proceeded with the count of the bricks of cocaine with the border police members.
Yes.
So you are involving them in the counting in that paragraph 25.
Yes, and like I'm saying, Commissioner, they may not have been part of the physical counting. There's only so many people that can handle exhibits, but they were there.
He says he left when you were counting. The statement that you refer to assist you, it says he left when you were counting. Your statement says he was involved with the counting. Do you not see
I
and
said
understand?
when we proceeded to start counting, Commissioner.
You say what?
We proceeded to start counting.
With the border police members?
They were there. The fact that they chose to
No,
leave, Commissioner,
no, Colonel. We've had a long 2 days with you. You state in your statement you counted with the border police members. That's what you convey. My English is not that bad. Trust me, it's not that bad. You convey in that first line that you counted with the border police members. That's what that line says. And until one reads something different, the only meaning of your sentence is Governor and Mkhize were involved, were part of the count. And Governor says, in the one statement, he says, we offloaded the bags and we left. But he says the same thing in even more words. In the one that you referred to, he says, we offloaded the bags and left when the police were counting. So he doesn't include himself in the count.
This is a statement he furnished me, Commissioner,
Okay.
under oath.
All right, thank you. And then lastly, can I, in fact, two last questions. And the one is just to make sure that I have correctly understood your evidence. In the time after the exhibits are deposited at Port Shepstone, from that date on, you did not have anything to do with these exhibits. You never came to know what's in that room, how many are in that room. Physically, you've never walked in to check, nothing. You had nothing to do with the physical exhibits in the entire time until they were stolen. Yes, your last engagement with the physical items was at Isipingo outside the police station.
Yes.
Okay, all right. And then lastly, and I promise you this is lastly, I still don't understand, and it might be that I need you to say it again so I understand the explanation properly. You returned to the container on the 1st of July. And it's not clear, so it's not clear to me why you return, because on the 22nd, you got the consignment that you were told was in the container. You were told 27 bricks. I think that's what you all expected. It's 27 bricks. As it turns out, it's 27 bags, I think. So you all are happy and good. In fact, your informant, crime intelligence, has left. He's happy that, in fact, what he had been informed was coming through. It has been found. You're done. When you go back, you say, why do you go back?
To the container.
Yes. And remember that your evidence is you also looked around. You did a pick. That's what you tell us, that you did do an eye observation of the container and you were satisfied that you got everything. Why do you go back?
Okay, it's a norm that we sealed the container, we went back, and I think I explained previously, there were 50 kilogram bags, which confirmed what the packing list said. Now, if I had noticed that there were 10 bags short, 10 50 kilogram bags, then we're looking at a 500 kilogram deficit within your load. If there were 10 bags short, then it would lead me to draw the inference that it's possible the consignee knew about this, because they're supposed to be expecting a certain number. Now there are 10 bags short, which amounts to the weight that cocaine would have taken up. Because remember, containers are weighed as well to see whether it corresponds with what the documentation says. So that's the purpose of doing that further unpack. Firstly, to check there's no additional drugs. Secondly, to see if the packing list corresponds, to see if the consignee is being honest with us. So it's purely for that, for the sake of being thorough. That's the only reason.
The reason I ask, and that I'm still confused and not clear about why you would go back, is because in the way that you explain your returning there and what you did there, it looks like you just went to count the numbers. You had a paper which tells you there's supposed to be 5395 bags, and then you're not customs, you're SEPS. You go back to verify that indeed there's 5395 bags, and from that you're satisfied. Your operation is done, shut, you got everything, and you leave. It doesn't make sense to me? Something doesn't make sense there? That you would go back just to go and count the bags?
What exactly doesn't make sense to you? Maybe
you are looking for cocaine. Counting the bags and finding that there are 5395 doesn't tell you anything.
Not merely counting, it's also inspecting to see that.
So you took them out. You took the bags out and inspected them. Is that what you're saying?
Not every bag, a few bags would have been inspected. A few bags would have been inspected. In fact, those bags were such that as you're handling them, you can see a little bit inside of them, you know?
So if there's a few bags, you don't have intel that there's more, right? So you're just a random police officer who is searching. You now tell us, in your statement, you don't say, in fact, I think what you explained earlier, you say, in fact, your statement says, I proceeded to the CHC depot. I had arranged the clearing agent to be present to unpack the container, and we conducted a count of the animal feed. They amounted to 5395, which corresponded with the packing list. This further corroborated the rip-off methodology. The container was then officially released. So on your own statement in paragraph 35, all you went to do, or what you did on the scene, was to count the bags. And that's what I say, it doesn't make sense that a police officer would go back to a container only to go and count how many bags there are. And on the paper it says 5395, and you say, good, the container can go. That doesn't make sense at all.
I'm not sure what.
And it doesn't make sense. It doesn't seem like sensible police conduct and use of time. At the very least, it doesn't seem to be. And so, let me put to you that it suggests to me, at least, because it doesn't make sense, it suggests to me that there has to be another explanation why you did this. Either appearances of an investigation, you knew you got the 27 bonus bags, you thought it was bricks, you got the 27, so you knew you've got everything that your intelligence told you. You went there for another reason. Here you tell us I counted the bags, and I say that doesn't make sense. You would go back to count the bags. And then I want to suggest to you that at best, on the most charitable possible explanation, you went back for appearances of conducting an investigation when in fact there was actually no investigation you were conducting. These drugs were always destined to be stolen. And you knew that. You knew there's a plot about these drugs, and now you were just going through the motions so that you can show up a diary and say, see, we were doing an investigation, we were serious about this. That's what I suggest it looks like to me.
Commissioner, it's the norm in every report and rip-off load to do what I had done. So if that's your insinuation with regards to me, then I think I won't take it personally. I would assume you'll have the same
yes.
stance on
I'm saying that's what it looks like to me.
But I'm saying to you, it's the norm. It's
okay.
the norm.
Keep in mind, we don't have evidence here of other instances. If you want, you can file an affidavit with the evidence leaders, which gives us all the other instances, a supported affidavit, where that is the practice. Right now, I'm working off what you have told us in your statement, why you went back, and it doesn't make sense to me what you say in the statement, and then I try and find an answer to the why would he go back? This doesn't make sense. What could be the real reason that he went back that he's not telling us? And I land at, given the facts of what happened here, from the time you first opened, in fact, from the time you called Sibia to come and join you, and you spoke to Nuswa and not your commander, and you made the decision, unsatisfactorily explained decision to move these exhibits from the depot to Isipingo, that you allowed these things to be moved without being bagged, without being sealed, to be transported to Port Shepstone. Your failure to act, to speak at the very least to your commander when he tells you that there was an attempted burglary, the sampling that doesn't make sense, that idea to sample and how it is conducted, that by telephone you tell Mbangase, who is a warrant officer, to get a sample, send it to the lab. Your discussion with Tsedi about destroying these exhibits even before investigations are completed, the failure to invoke the authority of your superior to get you lab attention to deal with these exhibits, and finally your failure to even speak to him when you are told there was an attempted burglary, and you're excusing yourself by saying, well, it was his to deal with. He's my superior. I couldn't ask him to try and do something about it. All of that, all those facts and more that I'm listing to you suggest to me that any semblances, any appearances of investigation that are contained in this diary, that you and I agreed yesterday that it's actually on the face of it, we shouldn't take it at face value because it contains a reconstruction of facts after the event, a misrepresentation. It has dates of entries where we know the entry was not made on that day. We didn't know until you testified. So nothing that is here in that diary is reliable, and I'm suggesting to you that my view, the impression I have gained from this is these recorded investigations in the diary, and you're returning to that place on the day when there was no detention order. There was no detention order when there are rules about how you go about issuing an instruction to detain. You didn't do that. You release it when it was under SARS. You say, I didn't know it was under SARS. I'm saying all of those facts, they lead me to the impression that your visiting that place on the 1st of July was again part of a scheme of creating the impression that there was a real investigation, when in fact there was no investigation at all that was going on. You were just going through the motions. That's the last thing I get to say. You can comment.
Commissioner, once again, I'll say to you, it's the norm to go and unpack a container. You're entitled to your view. I think I've said more than enough regarding all of those issues that you alluded to. And I don't think there's much more I can say to change your opinion. You're entitled to it. But I will still stand by it. There's no semblance of an investigation, no such thing. If you had to compare my inquiry with every other rip-on, rip-off load, you will notice mine is much more, there's much more investigation done. And even, Commissioner, I would have thought that the Commission would have familiarized themselves with the nature of these cases to see if indeed this is something that's a red flag to go and unpack a container just to verify that there's nothing else there, that the packing list corresponds. I don't know what would lead you to believe that it's a semblance.
I've invited you to give us a statement that sets out all that procedure that you're talking about, because we've listened to many witnesses about these kind of activities, about operations, drug busts. We've listened to many witnesses explaining, including witnesses that have participated. It's the first time, and maybe that's why I even waste 5 minutes on it, that I hear, or that witness has come here and said, we search and then we go back to the container to search again. So I'm inviting you to feel free to file a further statement that sets out that where that procedure is contained, that allows you, whether it's oral, verbal, practice, you tell us, and then you list cases where you say that has been done after the initial search, and we ordered that the container be detained. These were the facts, and we went back and searched. I'm sure we will not reject that kind of affidavit. And it's only fair that you file it if you have something like that.
Okay, Commissioner, I'll look for that.
Okay, thank you. Thank you, Chair.
Chair, before, if I may, I seek an indulgence, and it's because I had said I've completed my questions. However...
May I quickly ask mine?
Oh, yes, if it's a question, Chair. I thought you were closing the...
Thank you. It's just on one issue. The number of questions will depend on your responses, Colonel. Colonel, this relates to what you say in paragraph 9 of your statement, the statement prepared for the Commission. There you say Umlazi is 11 kilometers away from the depot, which I saw as a risk, and we were working in an uncovered area of the depot. And my sense, I think, when you substantiated on this was basically that you feared that people from Umlazi might descend on the scene and forcibly take away the drugs. That was my sense.
Yes, that's always a possibility.
So I'm correct.
You are correct.
Yes. I assume that there must be quite a lot of searches and seizures in that area, the CHC depot. I assume so. Surely this was not an isolated incident.
The ones I'm aware of, Commissioner, was the one of Warrant Officer Sanders and this one.
But surely it could not have been. It just could not have been.
You said, Chair, there could not have been just
two. I'm saying I would be very surprised if this was the only search and seizure at the CHC depot, even if you yourself are not aware of any others. I would be very surprised.
No, there ought to have been.
There ought to have been, yes. Now, in your experience, have people from Umlazi ever descended on a crime scene and forcibly taken whatever it was that was discovered at the crime scene? In your experience?
Can I answer that in two parts, Chair? the volume of this made me consider the risk factor attached to it, the magnitude of this, the value of this drugs recovered. So there's only two major drug busts that I'm aware of at CHC. That was the first one of the Mandrax, 547 kilos, and this was...
Okay, that's the first part. Second part?
Yeah, so it's only two of those. So
I'm saying you said you're going to answer my question in two parts. So the second part of answering me.
Just repeat the question. I lost
Sorry.
I lost my train of thought, Chair. Could you please?
And I'm happy that I did not disturb you. You lost it on your own. All right, but that was not my question anyway.
Yes.
My question was, have people from Umlazi ever descended on a crime scene at the CHC depot?
Not that I'm aware.
And removed whatever it was that was discovered when a search and seizure was conducted?
Not that I'm aware of, Chair.
Okay. Now, so your fear was based purely on surmise. Pure surmise.
Yes.
There's a township close by, and those people from the township just might come here and forcibly take this suspected cocaine from us. Mere surprise. People from the township, up on the hill.
You know,
I happen to know where Mlazi is.
Commissioner, that's always a real concern of any policeman. When you do a seizure of this nature. That's always a concern, your security issues. And we'd be fools to think that in every situation you are...
Isn't there a residential area? I think there's a residential area before you go up and reach Mlazi, up at the top. Isn't there another residential area somewhere?
It's Bingo.
Yes.
Yeah, yes,
there is.
Yes.
So you suspect the people from Mlazi and not the people from Spingo?
I'm not profiling, but it's known. It's a high-risk area, Chair. I'm saying every attack that ever happened, either on police for even
you know, people who deal in substances like cocaine, heroin, and all that are usually the so-called sophisticated people.
No.
So your fears and so on, and because part of your suspicion seems to be based on the quantity.
Yes.
So that must mean that you thought that the people from Umlazi just might get wind of the fact that there's this big bust here.
That's correct, Chair.
That's true of the people in Isipingo as well. And as I say, the so-called more sophisticated looking people are by and large the people that are involved in this sort of thing. Or am I also profiling?
Chair, what I would want to say, when all comes to light, at some point when arrests are made, I think then we all will be enlightened as to why my concerns were also a little valid. I won't go into in depth.
But the important point is that you are not able to say that people from Umlazi ever descended on CHC to forcibly remove drugs or any other thing discovered in a bust or after a search and seizure or pursuant to a search and seizure. That's the important thing. So you just assume that the people up on the hill just might do that. Pure surmise.
Now I realize, Chair, what I was thinking of earlier.
Now, that's one of your... Oh, you just remembered something? Yes, oh, yes.
I'm saying every attack that ever happened, whether it be policemen robbed for firearms or policemen robbed for monies that they were carrying, which happened not too long ago, was at some stage not heard of. Every attack or every type of incident, there had to be a first time for everything. So although it may not have happened, it's a risk that we have to consider, because there certainly would have been attacks on police, certain robberies on police for their firearms and things that would have been a first in that area, would have been a first for a certain scenario. So as much as it had not happened before, I can't say that there's no risk of it happening based on the value of those exhibits, and more especially, Chair, like I said, compounded by the fact that we didn't have enough exhibit bags. The station was only 4 kilometers away. Those were the factors in my mind, and I agree with you. I can't say with certainty that there would have been an attack.
And you are not aware of an attack since?
No, I'm not aware of an attack. I'm not aware of a large amount.
So
of
meaning that if you are the one to conduct a bust, you will always, in the vicinity of Umlazi, you will always conduct it differently because you are fearful of Umlazi.
No.
Yes or no?
Commissioner.
So whenever you are involved, you'll go there, quickly remove the drugs and take them wherever you consider safe, maybe Sipingo.
No, Chair.
Yes.
I'm saying when we go into these type of locations,
Yes.
we go with adequate manpower. We go with a tactical team. You go with enough vehicles. You go with members armed with rifles.
Then that raises another question. Why did you not do exactly that on this occasion? That's not an answer. Why did you not do that on this occasion as well? You just call Mbanga, say, that's one person, and you say, hey, is KG there? And KG happened to be there, and that was all. And then it was just the three of you. And yet you know, as you sit there, and as you say now, that the proper thing to do is to go to a crime scene like this. You're not going to a crime scene involving maybe the theft of a case of beer. No. It's a crime scene involving cocaine, a drug bust, serious crime. You do not go there with the necessary manpower. Did you have a reason for not doing so?
Chair, I think if I was at the office, not I think, if I was at the office.
Did you have a reason for not doing so?
It's because I was on vacation leave. I didn't attend to all.
What on earth does that mean?
If I was at the office.
Because to get manpower, even if you are not physically at the office, there's the convenience of a telephone.
Yes.
You could have made calls and you could have spoken to someone who could, if you could not do it yourself, someone who could mobilize the necessary resources.
Yes, you're correct, Chair.
So you've not answered my question then. Why did you not do that? Why did you not make sure that you had enough resources in terms of police officers?
Yes. I think compounded by the fact, Chair, that I didn't know what we were getting into. I just knew container.
You knew that you were going to a drug bust. You knew that. And it was so important to you that you even said that I came out of leave because it's something quite important to each and every police officer. It's an ego boost. I'm paraphrasing, but that was the essence of what you said. So it's something quite crucial. And leaving aside the ego boost, this is a drug bust. Again, it's not going to a crime scene involving the theft of beer. It's quite something quite serious. Why did you not mobilize and get other police officers so that you would not be concerned about Mlazi? Because my sense is that had you had enough police resources, you would not have cared about Mlazi. Am I correct?
You're correct.
So why did you not organize enough people to secure the area?
Our tactical team, Chair, was out on that day. They were out.
Surely I find that difficult to believe, because that would have been the first thing you say once I started engaging you. I'm asking this question now for the third time. I find that very hard to believe.
It's also in my affidavit or my info note that somewhere I did write that. I even considered calling our tactical team out, but I know they were out on that day. That is why they even took a long time to get to where we were at Isipingo.
But are you saying that, I know that the technical team is a specialized team, but are those the only police officers that could have given reinforcement? Are those the only ones?
Chair, Isipingo's got less manpower. You see, even Warrendorp in Warrant Officer Sanders' statement, he states that Perumal told him we don't have enough manpower.
Do you not get resources from other police stations when it's necessary?
Yes, we do, Chair.
And sorry. And you had maybe saying luxury of time, but I'll still use that. You actually had the luxury of time because it's not as if that container was going to be spirited away from the CHC depot. So you could have contacted other police stations to get the necessary manpower. Could you not have?
I could have, Chair.
Why did you not do it? So it's not an excuse to say that your own ATC bingo were not ATC bingo, had gone on whatever. So that's not an answer to my question. Why did you not reinforce from elsewhere?
Chair, even the response time when it comes to these units, when you want this tactical support, it's not at the drop of a hat that you make a call and now within 10, 15 minutes.
So you don't even try. You go there, it's you, it's Mpangase and Ksibia. So that's your choice. And you know that Mlazi, which you fear, is close by. You choose to do that instead of trying to get reinforcements. Because you never know. Trying, maybe you could have gotten reinforcement. For all you know as you sit there. You can't say, I did not try just because it's not a case of getting reinforcement within 15 minutes. You did not know for a fact whether you could or you couldn't. And add to that what I said earlier, which is that in a sense you had the luxury of time because it's not as if that container was going to be spirited away.
Yes, I can't dispute that, Chair. I took a decision.
So you just rushed in with 3 people. One of them, as Commissioner Valoy indicated, knows nothing about this sort of operation. Just 3 of you rushing in. And then perchance being assisted by the ORS subs members.
Yes. Chair,
perchance.
Yes. You know, Chair, I would not, and I can say this with confidence, I would not have moved to Isipingo station if those uniform members were not there. Because I know, obviously, then it's a red flag. It's just the 3 of us from one unit.
No. Now you are talking about what happened at the tail end. I'm engaging you about what happened at the beginning. Let's not go to the tail end. I'm not there.
Yes, I didn't ask for any backup. I could have. I did not.
And my sense is that you had no reason not to.
Once again,
let's forget about this thing about it's not a 15-minute thing and so on. You basically had no reason not to.
It's the time issue. That's all I can say.
Tell me about the time issue.
Just that I know in experience, by the time you call a certain commander, then he directs you to somebody, then you phone that member, and then he mobilizes his guys. It's only when you give them prior notice. That's how the police works. It's
so
not,
back to my question, so you choose not to even try. I will leave it at that.
I chose not to.
I'll leave it at that. Now, from where I'm sitting, it seems to me that the Umlazi issue was not really an issue, because you either ought to have gotten reinforcement or tried to. And if it was to be an issue, it would only be an issue if you had tried and failed, and then you say, I'm here, there's Umlazi here, I fear Umlazi, then I must rush away. Otherwise, that situation that you are fearful of is self-created. Self-created in the sense that you have not taken necessary steps to ensure that you have reinforcement.
Yes, I can accept.
You accept that?
Yes.
All right. Now, what I want to add to this thing about the fear of Umlazi not making sense to me. What I want to add to that is this. Yesterday when I engaged you, you accepted that you could have had the container removed, because when you were engaged by Ms. Sillo today, you said you didn't have much space on the door side of the container. I think you said it was only 2 meters, and that was a lot of whatever it was behind. So just 2 meters from the doors of the container. When I engaged you yesterday, you accepted that you could have gotten the container removed from where it was to some other area within the CHC depot, and that once there, you could have done the necessary cordoning off, and then you could have been able to conduct the search and seizure in a proper manner. Do you remember accepting that yesterday?
Yes, I do, Chair.
So when you look at those two issues, the fact that the Umlazi issue does not make sense, and to which right at the tail end of that debate you said you accept everything that I'm suggesting to you. So when we look at that, and we look at the fact that you could have removed that container and then you could have been able to do the search and seizure properly with no impediments, it makes all the other reasons that you gave yesterday to pale into insignificance. Do you accept that?
I don't want to argue with you. I'll accept.
You accept that? Thank you very much.
Thank you, Chair. Just very quickly, Colonel, if I may, and this is because I think you either have taken Commissioner Baloi's offer or you have undertaken to do so, to provide a statement explaining processes, prescripts governing such an engagement, where you go back to the container in the manner that you did on the 1st of July. You remember that?
Yes.
I think, I don't know, I hope it will help you, that it might not be a useful, particularly useful exercise. Why don't we try it this way, rather? We see at your paragraph 35, you say on the 1st of July 2021, you proceeded to the depot to go count the 5,395 bags, correct?
Yes.
Are you aware that in none of the statements, none, that are included in the inquiry file, do you speak of that exercise of the 1st of July? Would you like me to take you there?
Yes, because it yielded nothing. It was basically handing over a container. There was nothing significant to write a statement about. It's not done.
No, you were not handing over a container, you were searching a container. You were counting, you went inside the container to go count, and that's how you get to the conclusion there are 5,395 bags. You satisfied yourself, and you alleged, then you released it. So you did something to that container.
Yes.
You engaged with it in some form or other. Yes. I'm saying you have about 5-6 statements in the inquiry and in the docket, which are all before this commission. None of them references that activity. Why is that?
There's no need. I mean, whose benefit would that statement be to?
Whose benefit does it serve for you to come tell the commissioners about this activity here now?
I did it. That's
why
I'm saying
who does it benefit this time now?
I'm not sure who it benefits, but I did it.
It benefits you because you are aware that your presence on the pier that day, the depot, will have to somehow be answered at some point, and you are anticipating that. And that is why you include it here in this statement. You go so further, so much as to tie in the mega freight clearing agent in that exercise of the 1st of July. Yet, that is one person you never took a statement from. If this happened, and if he was present, you would have obtained a statement from him, but you never did. So what exactly went down on that day? It's
but-
something you subsequently thought of, and you were thinking who to lay it, at whose doorstep to lay it.
Commissioner, I mentioned the clearing agent that was present when this exercise was conducted.
Okay, let's go to the clearing
Did I
agent.
fabricate or did I imagine him?
He's got a statement here, he says, I was never there.
No, he was there.
Okay, so he's not
Well,
telling
what
the
does
truth.
his statement say? Can you read it out?
Okay,
I dispute
you will.
that.
Let's go to page 595. That's the first statement.
595.
That statement at 595 is the first statement, an earlier one dated May 22. You see that?
Yes.
Yeah. And he doesn't reference that visit on the 1st of July, you see?
Was he asked about it, Commissioner?
I don't know. I didn't drop this statement.
Then I can't answer. I'm saying he was there. The statement doesn't
But you
even
never
talk to
asked him because he's not in your docket. He's
I
not in
didn't
your
need
inquiry.
a statement from him. No, I don't agree with this, Commissioner.
Okay.
Yes.
Now let's go to 654. Let's go to page 654. At page 654, the same person, that mega freight agent, at paragraph 3 states, I was not aware of the inspection that allegedly took place at the CHC container depot on the 1st of July 2021, as I was not informed. Don't suggest that I made him say that. That is from 2025. I didn't even know this matter will come up.
Commissioner, the warehouse manager can confirm what I'm saying. It wasn't just me in isolation.
Okay. Now that is the challenge, and that is why I say when you say you promise Commissioner Baloyi that you are going to bring this statement, that is Ms. Pillay, right?
Yes.
It does sound, what happened, I say, is exactly as Commissioner Baloyi described. There is not even a stitch of a document that records what went down on the 1st of July. For that, we will go to Ms. Pillay, who you rely on. Let's go to page 577. At 577 is Ms. Pillay's first statement. If you go to 578 at paragraph 7, she says on the 1st of July, these members were present. And an official from Mega Freight was present, unnamed. This is dated the 6th of July, 2021. And this is a statement you took. But the statement you did not take is of that Mega Freight agent. You never took that statement. It's a fact.
Yes, I did
Okay.
not. Yes.
Now, if you go to 654,
You confirm that you took this Pillay statement.
Yes, it looks like I did.
Thank you.
let's go to 654. And it's Miss Pillay. No, sorry, 582, 582. 582. That's Miss Pillay's second statement, 582. If you look at that statement at 583, that's of the 13th May 2022, less than a year later.
Yes.
And in this statement, she says, it's a further statement. She references the one we just went through. She speaks of your visit on the 22nd of June 2021. And that's at paragraph 3. You see that?
Yes.
And then she doesn't reference your visit of 1st July.
Once again, this statement is taken by somebody from the investigation team. Was she even canvassed about the 1st of July?
I'll take that to be a rhetorical question. Huh? You're not asking me that. I am saying, in fact, I think there is a third yet statement by Ms. Pillay. I will locate it. But in the interim, I want us to go to the investigation diary. In your investigation diary, starting at page 800, this is the entry you made at page 803. You at the bottom of page 803, against the date 1st July 2021, second point, you have listed them there. You say you went with Mpangase and Sibia. Second, Team Flower Day of Mega Fright present.
Yes.
That's what you note.
That's what I know.
But that's the one person you still don't get.
I didn't need
Yes.
a statement from him, yes.
And gets back to the issue we discussed in the morning at 8:04. You say at 7, container resealed. You even claim you resealed the container here. That's the third seal I said I'm looking for.
Yes.
And you couldn't explain where that seal is. But your investigation diary suggests that you actually resealed that container,
Yes.
which is not true.
If I wrote the container was resealed, it would have been resealed.
I asked where, in all your statements and all these statements, even during your inquiry, you consistently provide 2 seal numbers. The original seal number of the container as you broke it on the 22nd of June. The second seal number that you replaced the first with after you took the drugs.
Yes.
But then you went and opened on the 1st of July. That's what we started with this morning.
Yes.
On the 1st of July, did you reseal? And it was Rick Marrow, you didn't remember, maybe you did. Then you, I think, eventually said, no, you did not seal because you are releasing the container. But your investigation diary suggests that you actually resealed.
Yes, okay.
So I am saying this point makes the point that this investigation diary is absolutely unreliable. I agree with Commissioner Baloy. It's manufactured fact in all this diary, post fact.
No.
And I'll tell you why I say it's manufactured as well. Let's page through it. Yesterday we discussed 24-hour inspection by your senior that you have at your page 803.
Yes.
And before, that's conducted by you. Thereafter, the next one is at page 807. That is by Nandlal. I'm sorry if I mispronounced that. That is prompted by you, the investigating officer, above at 807. You have an entry on the 30th of July 2021. You say, Lieutenant Colonel Nandlal sir, inquiry for inspection. Then he inspects. Then you go further. At 808, there, once again it's you, inspecting officer, sir, midway. And then somebody here, the name is not clear, does an inspection. You said it was inspection by province, okay? And beyond that, you never subjected this investigation diary to any inspection. You last subjected it to inspection, I shouldn't lie to you, on the on what you said is the 16th of September 2021.
Commissioner, I'm trying to understand what you want me to respond to.
No, I'm saying this is not to be relied. This investigation diary is a fabrication. It's inconsistent with the evidence before us. I gave you the example of a seal. You say you resealed in this investigation diary, and you presented it on the basis that it contains notes contemporaneously made. Today, when you make a statement before this commission, you cannot address the question of the seal that you put on that container on the 1st of July. And I'm saying it's because it was never there in the first place. That's why you're having a challenge.
Okay, may I respond?
You note here, you reseal it, but you don't even provide a number.
Okay, may I respond?
Please.
Okay. Firstly, I could not have imagined an unpack of 5,395 50-kilogram bags.
I don't know. I wouldn't know that.
Secondly, the warehouse manager's statement, nobody even asks her about the 1st of July. She merely comments on the 22nd of June. So how can we even consider that statement as a reflection of what transpired on the 1st of July? I did meet with this individual. I'm sure even if he's called or we check his phone records or find out, or even from the warehouse manager about whether this occurred, because remember, he had to come through with staff, with laborers, to physically unpack 5,395 bags. It couldn't have been me and 2 DPCI members that did that. They had done that. So if I say he was there, he was there. The warehouse manager is not disputing or confirming anything. She's silent on it because she wasn't asked about it. But I'm saying if I wrote that the representative Tim Flaude, sorry for mentioning his name, from Mega Freight was here, this was the unpack that was done. And the reason I couldn't remember whether it was resealed, this happened nearly 5 years ago. I can't remember every single detail. But the fact now that I'm being painted as I'm lying about this entire incident, I take serious issue with that. Okay. And I feel the onus should not be on me now to prove that I'm telling the truth here. The onus should be on the commission. If you are alleging that I am lying about this, the onus should be on the commission to prove that I'm lying. So far, what you have showed me is a statement from the warehouse manager, not even talking about the 1st of July, what happened there. Yeah. Obviously, we would have had to go through the warehouse manager to make these arrangements. So that statement tells me nothing.
Should we infer from what you're saying that she wasn't asked about the 1st of July, that's why it's not in her statement? With that, should we infer that you, in fact, asked her about the 1st of July? It wasn't an independent recollection, because in the one statement, you're saying had she been asked about the 1st of July, she would have said something. In your statement, she says something. Should we infer that you asked? That's why it's in a statement. It wasn't independent recollection.
You know, Chair, I can't even recall, this investigation until I looked at it. But I'm saying the bottom line is this. The warehouse manager ought to have been contacted to confirm indeed whether this incident occurred as per my investigation diary. The investigation team that had investigated this theft, who alleged that I am lying in this investigation diary, should they not have contacted Tim Flaude and asked him whether he was there on this specific day? Should they not have checked his phone records to see if he was at CHC depot? Should they not have checked my vehicle tracker to see if I was there? Now I'm being painted to the whole country as though I'm a liar, I'm fabricating things, and I take serious issue. There's a whole lot of investigation that was done that is clearly swayed in a certain direction. Every time statements were taken, it's taken with the view of portraying me in a light as though I was part and parcel of this orchestrated placement of a container in Port Shepstone and the subsequent theft thereof. And I'm showing the commission how statements were taken and individuals were not canvassed on certain issues. Now, we can't sit here today and I'm saying I was with a certain individual at a certain warehouse, and you take a statement from a warehouse manager and nobody sees fit to ask her, did indeed this incident occur on that date? But now I'm being told I'm lying.
Maybe they did ask her, yes. Did you have any other engagement with Colonel Jacob after the 22nd? Maybe they did, we don't know. And that's why I asked the question, did you ask her about the 1st of June? Because clearly she didn't volunteer it. You say she should have been asked. I don't know, maybe they should have asked her, but she didn't volunteer it, so it's not in her statement. I guess I'm just now intervening to say, well, maybe let's not put it higher than that it's not in her statement, and we have no explanation why it's not in her statement. And because of that, we have to test what you're saying. That's how it works. We have material in front of us, and we test it against what you say happened. And all that is happening now is to say to you, but if you were there on the 1st of July, how come Ms. Pillay says nothing about it? How come the Mr. Flowerday, whose name has been mentioned, says nothing about it? They both say nothing about it, and the only place that Ms. Pillay says anything about the 1st of July is in the statement taken by you. It matters to inquire further about it. Why is it in just your statement? Is it because you prompted it? Because clearly it doesn't seem like she remembered it independently.
Commissioner, I'm going to put this in layman's terms, right? If the commission is alleging that this never occurred, there's no such incident of an unpack and this representative of Mega Freight was not there, at least he should have been asked, did you attend or did you go for an unpack at CHC Container Depot on the 1st of July, 2021 or 21? And also, the warehouse manager, yes, I took a statement where I'm not sure how it came about, but yes, she talks about the 1st of July. So now it's the narrative of the commission that I somehow just fabricated this to cover my back. But should she not have been interviewed by an impartial or an objective party to ask her indeed on the 1st of July, was there such an incident? I'm sure something must be on the system. Mega Freight must have some sort of record of what transpired on that day. Now for today, to portray me to the country as though I'm lying, I fabricated this, it shoots down my entire credibility and integrity. And I feel this is an ambush because it did occur. Nobody asked these individuals, did you go to CHC on the 1st of July? But I'm being told now that it never happened because there's no such statement. Did anyone even try to obtain a statement?
Assumptions. I do apologize for interrupting. You are making assumptions that nobody went to ask her. It's a wrong assumption. And I'm going to show to you that she was in fact asked. So you can explain it away some other way, but don't say that nobody went to ask her to test the truth, the correctness of her first statement. For that, let's go to 607. If you turn over, leave at 608, it's a statement of 1st of October 2025. And at paragraph 2, at 607, you see she references a request by Captain Mashau to give further clarity about paragraph 7 in my previous A66 statement. That paragraph 7 is that the paragraph in that statement of the 6th of July 2021, where she says, members of Hawks arrived, an official from Mega Freight was present. They indicated they want to verify the packing list. When the members had finished, the container was locked and another seal was placed on the container. That's what she said about 2 weeks after the seizure. She doesn't say identify who the members of the Hawks were. She doesn't identify this official from Mega Freight. She doesn't give it a seal number. She doesn't do anything. So
does the investigating officer...
Let me finish. It's in that context you must read page 607 at paragraph 2, because it requests her to give further clarity about paragraph 7. You see what I'm reading?
Yes, I see.
Okay. Now, her response follows. I really cannot remember the Hawks members' names who came to our company on the 1st of July 2021 to verify that the packing list corresponded with the contents of the container. It's been long since the 22nd of June 2021 and 1st July 2021 to can safely say who were the members from the Hawks who visited our office, because on the day in question or in my statement, I did not mention their names. Now, my understanding of what I'm reading is she doesn't even have a record to prompt her memory in October 2025 and say, let me go to my files and see that visit of the 1st of July where these Hawks members came, because I, maybe stupidly on my part, would expect her to have had an entry regarding this particular container, that it was visited on the 1st of July by these Hawks members in the event of anything. To have identified in that document the Mega Freight agent that she references at that paragraph 7. And lastly, to provide the details of the seal that was then placed there, because she says it was sealed. What page 607 tells you that she says, I can't help you beyond what I've stated there. And it's because there is, my conclusion, no objective tool that can help prompt her memory.
You keep saying paragraph 7, you mean 2, or have you moved on?
No, paragraph 7 is paragraph 7 of the original statement.
Okay.
And the paragraph 7 is at 578.
Okay, sorry.
This is the statement taken by Colonel Jacobs.
All right.
So Colonel Jacobs was suggesting that she was never asked about the detail of the Hawks people and the mega fright. And I'm saying at 6:07, it's a handwritten statement dated 1st October 2025. Paragraph 2. It's paragraph 2 that specifically references that paragraph 7, and she says, I have been requested to give further clarity about that paragraph. Her response is, I cannot recall a stitch. She can only say so. She can't even say, I looked at my files and this is what I was able to glean from the files to remind myself.
I know you brought us to this statement to specifically respond to the question whether this had ever been raised with her.
Indeed.
So indeed it does appear that it was raised with her. Yes. But what's your understanding, Ms. Sillo, of the sentence, I really cannot remember the Hawks members' names who came to our company on the 1st of July 2021 to verify that the packing list corresponded with the contents of the container. What do you make of that?
What I make of it, she has got no record of that visit. Paragraph 7 does not identify those people. When she is required to provide specificity, somebody who is a manager responsible for that facility, who exercises control over commercial containers, would, I expect, be able to go to wherever they store their data, say, what container are we talking about and what date? I am going to pull out all documentation relating to that container as to what happened. That will give me the name of the Hawks members that came. I don't expect her to remember them off the top of her head. It will give me the name of the mega fright agent who I said in 2022 was present. I would have noted it. And it would give me the detail of the seal that was placed after this exercise. To all that she says, I don't remember, it was 4 years ago.
I read this to mean Hawks members did come, but I don't remember their names.
And that is my challenge.
Because I really cannot remember the Hawks members' names who came. So Hawks members came, but it's just that I don't remember their names. And if that is what this indeed means, then it supports what the Colonel is saying.
No, but
about that visit.
No, Chair. Let me try my point again.
Yes.
This is now part of the Port Shepstone burglary investigation.
Yes.
The investigator is chasing up on the statements that were in the inquiry file.
Mm-hmm.
It is the investigator that obtains this statement, says, I have received, amongst others, the statement you made in July 2021. Mm-hmm. Please provide me details regarding paragraph 7.
Oh, okay.
That is the request.
Okay.
She then files this statement and says, I cannot remember anything, but I say they did come. That's all she can say. And I say my challenge is the fact that she is an official agent does not even have a record to refer her to, because I take it she's in charge of other businesses, containers and property, that she can't even refer to a recorded entry that would help her identify those members who came, the mega fright agent, and the seal that was placed. All this does is to confirm a very blunt statement that she made on the 6th of July. Commissioner Baloyi asked, so on the 6th, when she made the second statement, she has no independent recollection of this particular visit because she doesn't mention it in the second statement. She only mentions it in the statement that Colonel Jacob took. And that is what I would believe prompted the investigator in October 2025 says there are two statements. The one fact is missing from the second. Let me go to her and give her an opportunity to file a further one to clarify, and it takes the matter no further.
But isn't this a criticism of her and not of the colonel? The fact that she doesn't have independent records?
And in fact, it was not directed as to the colonel as such as a criticism. I am saying the inference I draw is the difficulty with what went down on the 1st of July, 2021. Nobody seems to have an official record, notwithstanding the fact that Colonel Jacob's own diary says we resealed. But if you say, give me the details of the seal, nobody seems to have it. That is the criticism of what went down that day and what was recorded. It is very poor, and it's what creates these difficulties.
Before you ask your next question, Mr. Lo, may I just invite the Colonel to comment on the debate we've just had?
Okay.
Yes, Chair, I'm happy. Yes.
Thank you, Chair. Once again, to the Commission, I think that you guys are obviously have the intellectual capacity to see what I'm saying now. Can you see who took?
I'm laughing at the reference to us as guys.
Chair, you can see who commissioned the statement, right? Who the statement was obtained by. Does anywhere in the statement they even ask this warehouse manager, did Mega Freight representative come to the warehouse? All the statement says is that she can't recall our names, but Hawks members came there. Nothing further. This is the quality, this is the string, the theme that runs throughout this entire investigation directed towards myself. Shoddy investigation, statements that are vague. This tells us nothing, but it seems to be the reason I'm being called out as a liar. This tells us nothing. Why couldn't someone approach the guy from Mega Freight himself, who I claim was there? And let's hear what he has to say about this. Nobody's canvassed him on that. It's a vague statement, and now I'm being painted as an untruthful or a liar. And like I'm saying, if commissioners, you can see the statement. What does it tell us? What sort of a statement is this? It talks to what I've been saying, that all this entire investigation, there's one central theme. They've already got a predetermined conclusion in mind, and every statement that has been taken, we don't expect statements of this quality from DPCI head office, statements of this quality. I may have messed up my crime scene, but if you look at my statements, I try and put some content into my statements. These statements here, especially investigating the theft of over 200 million rand worth of drugs, and now to tell the country that I am involved based on shoddy investigation like this, I'm just expressing my dissatisfaction.
For the record, the agent was approached and he provided a statement. We dealt with it earlier.
But he was not asked, Commissioner, I'm saying, was he asked about the 1st of July? His statement tells me nothing about the 1st of July.
If you go to 654, that's his statement. 654. That's a statement dated 27 October 2025. It's handwritten.
Yes.
Do you see it?
Yes.
At paragraph, are you there yet?
Yes, I'm here.
Okay. At paragraph 3, he says, I was not aware of the inspection that allegedly took place at the CHC container depot on the 1st July 2021, as I was not informed. That's what he says.
No, seriously, Commissioner, this is my response. Sorry to just talk out of turn.
Yes.
I feel he was confused maybe about the day of the search, because this was taken in 27 October 2025, the statement. And if you look at it, it's taken by the same individual that I claim to be doing shoddy investigation. So now, he must be confusing, because he's talking about, I was not aware of the inspection that allegedly took place at the CHC container depot. He's probably confusing the inspection where we recovered those drugs. Not.
He says the first of July.
Yes, I'm saying,
Let's
yes,
not do
Commissioner,
that.
I hear you. I'm saying the statement was taken in 2025. He probably does not remember that the 22nd of June was the date of the recovery, and the 1st of July is the day that he came through for an unpack. Because you see, he talks here, I was not aware of the inspection that allegedly took place at the depot on the 1st of July, right? I also attached the process.
Well, remember you said your complaint is he wasn't asked. I think that's why we've opened. No. We've been referred to this. You said the statement taking or the investigation is so shoddy.
Yes.
They didn't even ask him about the 1st of July.
Yes.
And we are referred to it for the to simply point out that but his statement does say something about the 1st
Yes,
of
and
July.
I'm saying this, Commissioner, once again. This statement is taken on the 27th of October 2025 by the very same individual that I am alleging is always taking shoddy statements. So if I read this, I'm going to read it, right? I was not aware of the inspection that allegedly took place, paragraph 3, at the CHC container depot on the 1st of July 2026, as I was not informed. I also attached the process that will follow in case a container is being detained for inspection. As the cargo stop agency, I must be contacted if the client container is being detained. So he's talking about the actual day of our search of that container, the 22nd of June. I put it to you, to the commission here, that if this individual is engaged, he was either misled somehow, but if you read this, you can see he clearly is talking of the date of the seizure of those drugs.
May I assist you, because in truth, I just made you zero in on paragraph 3 because I was interested in the date.
Yes.
But let's test what you are saying by looking at paragraph 2.
Yes.
Paragraph 2 says that, whatever I understand, that I would like to further my statement I submitted on a previous occasion. So there's a recognition that there's a statement that precedes this one, correct?
Yes.
Then he proceeds, I only attended the inspection of the container that was found with drugs at CHC Warehouse Container Depot on 24th June 2021. See attached document.
Yes.
So in paragraph 2, there is a recognition that the actual seizure was in June 2021. Okay. In paragraph 3, he deals with a different issue, which is the 1st of July 2020. So he appears to have an appreciation that there are two events here.
Okay, may I respond,
yes,
Chair?
Please.
There was nothing happening on the 24th of June. So my submission is this. You see in paragraph 2 where he says, I only attended the inspection of the container that was found with drugs at the CHC Warehouse Container Depot on the 24th of June 2021. See attached document, right? The way I read this, he was confused. He's talking, instead of 24th of June, they're supposed to read 1st of July. And later on, he's supposed to, they got the dates mixed up here. Because if you read it in context, what I'm saying makes sense. I'll leave it to the commission. You can read it, and I'm saying it's my submission that paragraph 2 is supposed to read the 22nd of June instead of 24th of June, because that's the date we did the seizure. And this other date here that he's got, I was not aware of the inspection that took place on the 1st of July. No, I think the statement, because it was taken in so many years later, and in 2025, he got his dates mixed up. And the statement is, if you look at it in context, it does not make sense.
No,
what happened on the 24th
no,
of
Colonel,
June?
there's no mistake about the date of the 24th. You have accepted, or at least you are not contesting, that he wasn't there on the 22nd. You keep talking about context. Context is, this is a further statement to the earlier, to the one statement, where he says, you opened the container without his presence and without him being informed on the 22nd. So
He says on the 24th.
no. There's earlier statement where he has said, I wasn't there on the 22nd, I should have been there. And then here he says, this is a further statement. So we know the first statement.
Yes, I'm aware.
And then he says, I only went on the 24th of June. You were not there, right? On the 24th of June. You were not there, so you don't know what he's talking about when he says I was there. But this is a further statement. He's not making a mistake. Otherwise, if we accept what you're saying, that this is a mistake, then and you say instead of 24, it should be 22, then it means he was there on the 22nd. But on your own evidence, he wasn't. Mr. Flowerdale wasn't there. You have listed who was there. The depot, don't shake your head. You've told us the depot, ORS, and your people, depot people, and the person that you thought was customs, and we've cleared. There was no customs there. So that's on your statement. That's on Bangas's diary. There's no mention on the 22nd of an agent being there. So where she says 24th I was there, he couldn't be referring to the 22nd. There is no mistake about it. So this is a further statement on the first one that says, I wasn't there on the 22nd. You didn't quarrel with that statement. You
Yes,
did not.
yes.
If you quarrel with
That's
it, you
it.
quarrel with it only now. Where he says the 24th of June, he's not saying on the day of your inspection he was there. He's not saying that. And you say, you accept that he wasn't there on the day of the inspection. So he tells us, he introduces new facts. New fact is he went there on the 24th. We don't know what he did, right? He says, I went there on the 24th. And then he talks about the 1st of July. He says, I was not aware of the 1st of July inspection. And really at this point, they quarrel, if there's a quarrel, it's about the 1st of July. You claim he was there.
Yes.
He's filed a statement. He says, I wasn't there. And I think we're at a point where the commission, it's not a question of interpreting the statement. I think the statement is very clear what it's conveying. It's what do we do eventually with these conflicting accounts.
Yes. Okay, Commissioner, I'm calming myself down. I'm going to try and express myself so that you can understand. There's nothing that happened on the 24th of June for him to say that at CSC warehouse. It says here, I only attended the inspection of the container that was found with drugs at the CHC warehouse depot on the 24th of June 2021, right? No, I didn't engage with him on the 24th of June 2021. None of my members did. So clearly, there's some confusion with this date here because nothing happened on the 24th of June. That was 2 days after the bust. Then he goes on in paragraph 3 to say, I was not aware of the inspection that allegedly took place at the depot on the 1st of July as I was not informed. Now, firstly, he's got the date on top wrong. Now, at the bottom, we've got the same captain that's obtaining his statement. And I'm saying to the commission that I think he confused this individual because he was present. And now you take his statement in 2025 in October. Obviously his memory is not that, fresh as to what transpired. So he's going to listen to the policeman who's taking his statement. And I'm saying to the commission, if you will allow me to get to the bottom of this, and I will furnish together with that previous request of yours, Commissioner Baloy, I will get to the bottom of this to show the commission that this can never be, and it will prove the recurring theme that I've been saying, that this investigation is orchestrated to point in a certain direction. I can put my neck on the block. This individual was there on the said day. Came through with laborers, we did an unpack, and if my investigation diary says that we resealed it, we resealed it. So I will get in contact with this company, I'll get to the bottom of this, but I take serious issue. You can see the dates, what happened on the 24th of June, there's nothing, but he talks about the 24th of June. So I'm saying to you, he was confused when the statement was taken, and once again it was taken with an objective in mind, and that's to somehow implicate me in this.
Thank you, Chair. That is the point I just wanted to clarify. Thanks for the indulgence. I know I'd said I'm done with my questions, but this time I truly am done. Thank you.
There's something I consider important and which I want to say. I want to tender an apology to the people of Umlazi. I meant to challenge the notion that they might descend on CHC depot to forcibly take the suspected cocaine. In doing that, I made an unfortunate assertion which implicitly meant that Umlazi people are unsophisticated. I will not go into what that term means. I should rather only have said, if the fear of forcible taking was sensible, even people from Isipingo could have descended on CHC depot and forcibly taken the suspected cocaine. I apologize unreservedly. Thank you. Are we now at the stage where I should...
I think so. Before we have to make other logistical arrangements,
yes.
I think it's only proper to release the colonel, yes, and thank him for availing himself.
Yes. Colonel, thank you very much.
Thank you, Chair. Thank you.
You are excused. Thank you.
Before the rest of us are excused, Chair, some housekeeping matters that we need to address. And the first, it's about tomorrow. The Chair will recall that on Monday, the 1st of June, General Sinona had been subpoenaed to appear, which he duly did, and the Chair stood down his testimony to Friday the 5th, which is tomorrow. Yesterday, on the 3rd of June, we received a communication from his attorneys advising that General Sinona's counsel is indisposed. She's taken ill, and she would not be able to attend tomorrow. The request had been for the Commission to consider whether it could stand down Major General Sinona's testimony, as the letter states, to a later date in the week of the 8th of June, which is next week. The letter does make the point that General Sinona had been required to file his statement by the 2nd of June 2026, and it was done, and we as evidence leaders confirm the filing of the statement has been done. So what was outstanding was for him to appear tomorrow. If General Sinona appears tomorrow, it will only be after perhaps lunch, because we have another witness scheduled in the morning. And with the result that he will not finish, if he starts after lunch. So he would have to come back on a later date, possibly in that week of the 8th, to assure the commissioners that I happen to personally know the counsel that represents Major General Sinona. And I actually spoke to her on the phone. She had called me, and she did sound under the weather. She indicated that if the commission insists that General Sinona be heard tomorrow, she'll just push through and come to attend. But the request is, to the extent that it is possible, a postponement of the general's testimony is requested. The suggestion here is to any date in the week of the 8th. Otherwise, we leave it in the Commission's hands. Thank you, Chair.
Thank you, Ms. Silo. The hearing of the evidence of General Sinona is postponed to a date to be determined during the week of the 8th of June 2026.
Yes, or such later date as the Commission will determine. Yes.
Or maybe let me just recall that. The hearing of the evidence of General Sinona is postponed to a date to be determined.
Thank you, Chair. Secondly, insofar then as the rest of the witnesses are concerned, we're ready to resume at 9:30 tomorrow morning with the next witness.
Thank you. Let's adjourn and resume at 9:30 tomorrow. Good morning to you too. Thank you. And good morning, Deputy Commissioner Spies.
Good morning, Commissioner.
Good morning.
Thank you, Chair. Chair, just for the record, we need to clarify that Commissioner Spies, who's testifying today, did testify before this commission, and his last testimony was on the 11th of November 2025. But he was testifying in relation to the events and incident relating to Ekurhuleni Metropolitan Department. And today it is not a continuation of that. He comes under a completely separate stream, which is what we refer as the Tshwane Metropolitan Police Department. He has since retired, and it was recorded then when he came before the commission that, in fact, when he testified before this commission in November, already he had retired from EMPD and now deployed by the TMPD.
February 2025, I think.
That is correct.
Yes.
And he started the site on the 2nd of March.
March
2025.
2025.
Yes, so just so that we are clear that it's not a continuation. We try to label his annex charts as well to avoid any sort of confusion as to that testimony. Thank you, Chair.
Thank you, Mr. Musigiri. I've forgotten now whether you saw or you affirmed.
Sworn, Commissioner.
Do you swear that the evidence you are going to give is the truth, the whole truth, nothing but the truth? If so, please raise your right hand and say, "So help me God."
So help me God.
Thank you.
Today we're making a simple yet delicious dish, corned beef. With just a few ingredients and some spices, this hearty meal can be ready in no time. Perfect to serve with bread, pap, or rice. Let's get cooking. For this recipe, you will need 1 can of corned beef, 1 medium onion chopped, 7 sliced chilies, 5 tomatoes, 3 grated and 2 sliced, a half a teaspoon turmeric, salt to taste, oil for frying. These ingredients come together to create a quick yet flavorful dish that's sure to satisfy. And if you're running low on any of these ingredients, the Yasir app has you covered. Order fresh ingredients quickly and have them delivered directly to your door. Let's start by placing the can of corned beef in some hot water. This softens the meat and makes it easier to slice or cube later. While the corned beef is warming up, heat some oil in a pan over medium heat. Add your chopped onions and sliced chilies. Fry them until the onions become soft and translucent, which takes about 4 to 5 minutes. Now add a half a teaspoon of turmeric to the pan. This adds a beautiful golden color and a subtle earthy flavor to the dish. Stir it in and let the spices cook for another couple of minutes. Add the chopped and grated tomatoes. The grated tomatoes will create a smooth sauce, while the chopped tomatoes add some texture. Let the tomatoes cook down for about 10 minutes until they are fully softened and the sauce has thickened. Now that our sauce is ready, it's time to open the can of corned beef. Take it out of the water, open the can, and slice or cube the beef, whichever shape you prefer. Add the cubed corned beef to the tomato sauce. Gently stir to coat the beef in the rich sauce and let it cook for another 10 minutes. This allows the flavors to melt together. Serve this delicious corned beef with your choice of starch, whether it's bread, pap, or rice. And remember, with the Yasir app, you can always keep your pantry stocked with fresh ingredients delivered right to your kitchen. And there you have it, a quick and tasty corned beef dish that's perfect for a hearty meal anytime. If you enjoyed this corned beef, don't forget to like, share, and subscribe for more easy and quick recipes. Enjoy your meal and see you next time.
We'd like to think that no matter what we do, people are coming for the pizza. I think Xero has helped us sort of streamline things so that we can focus on the front of house and the pizza. From being a tiny business with 1 employee to having sort of 70 employees now, you can't do everything yourself. I think if you know your business and know your product, no matter how small it is, then you're in a great position to sort of speak from the gut. And if you know it, you'll be able to sell it.
My best advice I can give to someone is just to be proud of what you're doing and stay true.
Thank you, Chair, and good morning, Commissioner Spies. Again, could you just formally put your name on record?
My full name is Revo Spies.
Thank you. Commissioner, you will see that you should have before you 4 white files. There should be 2 big ones and 2 small files. Can you confirm that?
Correct, Commissioner.
Thank you. Before we deal with the contents of those files, can you confirm that you have prepared a statement and submitted one to this commission so that it can be used in your testimony?
Correct. I have prepared a statement relating to the Tshwane Metro Police portion, and I have submitted it.
Thank you. May we then go to file 1 of 4? It's one of the smaller files. And you will see on the index there, it lists a document, statement of Reverse Peace. Do you see that, Commissioner Speaker?
Correct.
And then you will see that if you flip over, and the last page to that document will be page 19.
That's correct.
Do you see that? Do you confirm that this is your statement that you submitted for consideration by the Commission?
Yes, I confirm that that is my statement.
Is your copy signed, Commissioner? And what about yours, Mr.